Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. All right, what up, Carlo? How you doing, buddy? You doing all right, Husky boy? All right, you ready to Saturday night party it up? Yeah, good boy, Carlo. Good boy. All right, let's check out this Donald Trump announcement that he made. So what up, everyone? So Donald Trump got a new toy from Qatar. There it is right there. Watch out. So yeah, it's this came out yesterday, or I don't know, Friday or something. I don't know. It's titled. It says June 19th. But yeah, it's titled President Trump unveils the new Air Force One. So this is pretty fresh. It's a Saturday night / Sunday morning. I'm in Los Angeles, so it's 11:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, let's see what's up with this. See what's up with this. Hope you guys are all having a good weekend so far. All right, this is the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, God, I can't stand that song. But yeah, there's Donald Trump right there. Let's see how he does going down the stairs. He's doing the old jerk off sign language. Just got to take a break right there, halfway through. I got it muted because I can't stand that song. What a horrible song. I mean, I'm sure it's a good song, but just because Trump loves it so much, he ruined that song. All right, they're still playing the song. It looks like he's meeting with some generals right here. He's about to pull up to the podium and give a speech. I haven't seen this yet, so it's my first time watching this. But yeah, like the reflecting pool, he's trying to blame it on vandals. It's like, what a moron. It's like, yeah, sure, some vandals came and brought some algae. LOL. All right, I gotta keep it muted because that song's still going. It'll be over any second now. Jeez. Looks like Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again. What a failure Trump is. Israel just can't stop. Bibi Netanyahu's got Trump by the orange balls. He just keeps on bombing Lebanon. All right, I think this song's finally over. All right, here we go. Oh no, the song's still going. All right, I gotta keep it muted for this song. Well, I'll unmute it any second now. Can't really hear what he's saying anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just meeting with some generals. How's everyone's weekend going so far? Everyone having a good weekend, hopefully? Gas still the same price as it was? Hasn't been plummeting down as Trump is claiming it has? Man, why does it always have to play that ridiculous song? Good Lord. He's got his toupee on, his wig. Oh my goodness, I'm just going to fast forward this. I can't stand this crap. Screw that song. All right, here we go. You gotta be kidding me with this crap.
Well, thank you very much. And before we begin on the plane, this is a brand new hangar because, as you probably have learned, these planes are much bigger. The other plane was about 35 years old. And it was time, and the President of the United States, numerous of them, would land, and they'd be standing next to one of the new 747s. And the biggest...
And that's not your plane, Donnie. That's the American people's plane.
This is the difference in size. It's like virtually double the size. And actually on a runway, it looks even more so. And I said to myself...
Hey, happy Father's Day, everyone out there. Hey, what's up, Jay? What's up, Oso? Let's see. What's up, Mikey Nichols? What's up? Let's see who's in here. What's up, BD? What's happening, y'all? I'm about to smoke a bong load right now.
Countries, they have a lot of respect for us, a lot, and yet they have a plane that's much better and much newer. It's a little ridiculous out there. And we have our signal and we have our beautiful American flag, and we put the wave in it, as you know. We've always gone with a straight little noodle, and I never loved that. Now we have a wavy, beautiful flag. We're waving it proudly because our country is doing so well. Our country is doing so well. Those ships are flowing out of the Hormuz Strait like nobody's ever seen before, actually. There were a lot of them, about 700 of them, and they're pouring out. The oil is all over the place. You're going to see oil drop so low. I hope the companies are happy about it. But we have a lot of victories. We had a great victory in Venezuela, where we're now doing really well with the government. The big companies are all in there. The oil companies, they're building rigs, and we've paid for that war many, many times over. We're running it, and again, we have a fantastic relationship with the people of Venezuela. Venezuela has become a happy country because they have never made the money that they're making now. We take some and they take some, but I just want to thank the general for the job. Raising Cane, I liked his name right away. I had Raising Cane, and he raises cane, and he's very quiet about it. But he knows how to win. I knew that a long time ago. I said, if I ever get back here, I know the guy I'm going to put in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I got my man. So thank you, General. Great job. We're proud of you. And all of the people. I mean, we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. And you saw that in Iran, where in 1 week, virtually, we knocked out their entire Navy, their entire Air Force, their anti-missile weapons, their radar. We knocked out everything. Now, some of the fake news would say, oh, we didn't do it fast enough or something. It took about a week. We're a little spoiled by Venezuela, but equal. I would say equal. And now we have an agreement that was signed last night, and it's 60 days. They have to make a deal, otherwise we will do things that won't make them happy. But I don't think it's going to get to that. I think it's going to be very good. Remember, if we do that, then all of a sudden you're not going to have the oil flowing out of the strait too quickly, because people that own billion-dollar ships don't love missiles flying over them, don't love mines all over the water. And this is going to be amazing what's happening now, because we have the greatest economy that we've ever had. We have $19.2 trillion coming into our country from other.
What a lying sack of crap.
And people, but a lot of other countries are coming in, including.
Hey, by the way, folks, everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is nothing but lies. The only reason we're watching it is to call him out on all his BS. So feel free to call him out on all his BS. This guy's just nothing but a gaslighter.
Qatar, who was so nice in providing, we were at a little bit of a logjam. We're waiting for I call them the normal 747s, and I asked the Emir if we could use the brand new 747 that he got when we first heard about it, 800 hours. 800 hours for an airplane is essentially, I think, Troy, you could say that's a brand new plane. And I said, we'd like to use it for a little while because the planes are pretty old. Our planes are old. See, a normal president wouldn't do this. A normal president wants to stay away from aircraft. We don't want to order any aircraft so that everybody thinks, but our country has to be represented properly. We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest aircraft anywhere in the world, military fighters and bombers, and the B-2 bomber, you saw what that did. And we should have a plane. And we're going to have, as you know, we ordered two for a long time ago. They ordered, and they're coming in. And the hangar was built for the large plane. The other plane is such a difference in size, but there will never be one like this. This is very unique. This is considered the world's most luxurious plane. When it was built at a level that will probably never be seen again. And if the press would like, I don't know if it's going to help me with stories. I don't think they'll be any different. But what we're going to do is we're going to take you for just a quick tour. The press is actually going to, look at them. They're actually smiling. Are you smiling? First time I've seen them smile in years. They don't smile at Republicans. They should smile at Republicans because we're the ones that make America great. Anyway, but that's good. You happy about that? We'll do it. All right. So when I leave, they're going to take you for a little tour. You'll see something you won't even believe. And you'll be spending a lot of time. We're doing a lot of trips. We'll be going to Turkey. We'll be going at some point during the year back to China. President Xi's coming here in September, but we're going back for a big conference that's in China. I said I'd do that. And I want to thank China because, to be honest, I asked President Xi not to get involved with Iran. And they get 50% of their oil from the Strait. But I asked him not to get involved. Then he said he wouldn't, and he didn't. I mean, very nice, actually. Very nice. So I appreciate that. But we'll be doing a lot of traveling together. The workmanship of this plane is, when you see it, you won't believe it, actually. The quality of woods, the quality of the materials, the quality of the engines. These engines are the finest and the best in the world. Nothing like it. So it's really an honor, and I want to thank the Emir of Qatar. He's a fantastic guy. He went through a lot over the last few months. He's very brave, as were Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince, and the King of Saudi Arabia, who's in good health. He's a little older. Got a little bit, I knew him when he was a little bit younger. I've known him all for a long time, but the Crown Prince is a fantastic person. And UAE Mohammed from UAE, incredible. He's an incredible fighter. They're all incredible fighters. And they fought with us and they've been loyal to us. And I appreciate it. Also Kuwait, Bahrain, and some others. And obviously we fought very well with Israel. And we've had a great relationship with Israel. We're very formidable. And Bibi Netanyahu is a warrior prime minister, and he should be acknowledged as that. They should give him credit because he really did. We had a very good relationship, General, with all of them. We really fought hard with Israel. And frankly, I feel that if we weren't around, let's say if there wasn't this presidency, we rebuilt our military during my first term. Some of it was foolishly given away by the Biden administration. Nobody can even understand that, but not much compared, a lot, but not much compared to what we built. And then a lot was given away by Biden to Ukraine. And they should pay for it, meaning the Europeans should pay for it, but that wasn't in the cards for them. They didn't, nobody asked them to pay. All you have to do is say, take our military, just pay us. Just pay us. Nobody asked. They said, why didn't you pay? Nobody asked us to, sir. I was with the European leaders over the weekend. I said, we gave you 350, think of it, $350 billion worth of planes, 300 of weapons of all kinds and other things. And they said, why? I said, why didn't you? And he said, well, nobody ever asked us. So we're going to, now they do pay, Europe pays. And we're trying to get that war ended, Ukraine and Russia. I'd like to see it end. A lot of people. Last week it was reported 34,000 people died. Soldiers, mostly soldiers. I've ended 8 wars. I'm very proud of it. But this was the one I thought might be the easiest of all. And it's turned out to be a little more difficult. But we're going to get it done. I want to thank the Secretary of the Air Force, who's a friend of mine. He's highly respected. He's a great guy. He's doing a wonderful job out here. Troy, thank you very much. Troy Mink, thank you very much, Troy.
This dude didn't end 8 wars. If anything, he bombed 8 different countries in the last year.
Great job. And he loves it, don't you? He likes beautiful aircraft. And we have beautiful aircraft. We have a thing called the F-47. I'm sure you haven't heard of it. But they say it's stage 6. They say it's the greatest fighting machine ever developed, and we'll find out. The F-47, and it's under construction now, and they have the assembly line already working, and it's going to do great. Undersecretary of War Michael Duffy. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. And again, the chair.
Oh, Michael Duffy, another incompetent clown that's just another reality TV show guy.
Joint Chiefs of Staff Daniel Kane, who's fantastic. Air Force Chief of Staff General Kenneth Wilsbach. Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth. The CEO of L3 Harris, Chris Kubasik. Thank you. Great job, Chris. He said they do a lot of the great planes in the world, and he said, we never did one like this. This is something special. Thank you. I heard you were fantastic. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank, I think, a natural-born warrior. His name is Pete Hegseth, and he has done...
Pete Kegsbreath, an incompetent clown.
Working with the generals and everybody else. He's a natural, I believe. Well, so far we've been winning all the time. We're not going to lose. He doesn't know how to... Yeah,
you guys have been bombing schools full of kids and throwing tomahawk missiles at innocent, fishermen. You guys are war criminals.
And he's a tough cookie, and he loved the first day I met him. I said, this guy really loves the military. Very successful, great colleges, he went to the best schools, great student, but he loved the military. Then I said, I'm going to give him a chance, and he more than lived up to the reputation, so he's great. He's doing a fantastic job. Pete Hegseth. I also want to thank Espec.
Yeah, because Kegsbreath's the only one dumb enough to take that job under you, Orange Clown.
250 people, that's a lot, who worked 24/7 to prepare this plane for service, including many airmen here at Joint Base Andrews. And I want to thank you all. And your generals and Troy and everybody. We're doing you a little favor. You have 2.5 really bad golf courses here. Really bad. They have no water. They're dying. And everybody wants to play, but they're really not representative of quality. So Jack Nicklaus, who's a friend of mine, is doing, I told him, he's a great.
Hey, what's up, madame? The MAGA cult members, who knows? They're probably listening to the YMCA song somewhere.
He was the greatest player. Tiger and Jack and Tiger. Gary Player was right there too, Gary. Gary won 168 tournaments. We got to say that's pretty good too. But Jack Nicklaus, a great, great legendary golfer. He won 18 majors and close to 100 tournaments. And known also, very, very rarely does this happen, known also, he's really become a fantastic golf course designer. He's done tremendous golf course. And I said, Jack, and he loves the military. I said, Jack, would you do me a favor? Take this beautiful piece of land with terrible courses that don't have water, they don't have anything, they have grass that's 400 years old. I said, will you, right? They know what I mean. Give them a world championship course because the land is phenomenal. The outer fairways, in other words, the area, the trees between fairways are the most beautiful I think I've ever seen because nobody's touched them in many, many years. And they've just about started construction. You're going to have it very quickly. And you're going to have, I think, the finest military courses anywhere in the world, but they'll be among the best, you know. It doesn't cost much more to make them top tier for a couple of bucks more. And I said, we're going to spend it. So that's our gift, the general, myself, Troy, that's our gift to great place, Andrews. I've gotten to know it. You know, I've been coming here a lot of years now. It seems strange, but we've been coming here a lot of years. And everybody involved with Andrews is a winner. They run this so well and so important. So you're going to have 2.5. We're doing 2 courses and a half for young people, very young people, and disabled. If there's anybody that needs a little help, it's so amazing what they do. And so we're doing 9 holes, and that'll be for disabled, young people. Very, very special. Hasn't been done before. I thought it would be a great idea. But with the extraordinary devotion of many of you here today, this plane was transformed into a flying White House at a level of luxury that nobody's ever seen before. Probably even almost outside of an airplane. It's nobody's ever seen anything like this. And in only 10 months, a time frame no one thought possible. And, you know, they put a lot of things on here that normally you wouldn't do. Great protective mechanisms, very, very the latest and the greatest in every aspect. But it took us about 10 months, and they did it really professionally. These generals were what they do. And this was this was love, right? This was not your normal general. This was not your normal situation. Come here, I want to shake your hand. You work so hard. Come here. This guy. He worked so hard with such love. And it's basically, he's a love for the country and a love for the Air Force. But his whole group was just unbelievable, and you thank them all. Okay? Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Great job. And it was all of the generals. They wanted to do something special. They wanted to get it done for the 250th year, the anniversary. We have America's 250th, and that's coming up in a little while. And I think I can say that we're going to do a flyover like no flyover. This is going to lead a group of many, many planes. I do love the F-22, I have to tell. Does anybody like the F-22? I love the F-22. I said, why aren't you putting F-22s? They're putting F-22s. They're going to have the 35s. They're going to have the 60s. They're going to have everything. But this will be a flyover on July 4th. I think I can say the likes of which we've never seen before, General, right? Spending a couple of bucks extra for a little fuel. We own the plane, so all we need is a little extra fuel, right? And we have every pilot wants to do it. Those pilots are all fighting to do it. So we're going to have a lot of planes flying over the Capitol and over the White House. And maybe I can ask you to do a return trip too, because, they fly over and they go fast. When they're going slow, they're going fast, right? And as I understand it, this is going to lead the brigade. And as a general story, I mean, because sometimes you see them and you see, like, for instance, the other night, did anybody see the fight the other night by any chance? Because I figured because it was one of the highest rated shows they've ever had, ever. I think everybody was watching that. That was rather gruesome. Would anybody like to be a fighter? I don't think so. That was one of the greatest events. But they flew over the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. I don't know. Have they ever worked together before? I think they probably hate each other, right? But they're two groups that they got together and they put on a performance. And I think we're going to get some of that too. And it's really, these are fantastic people. So we had.
Oh yeah, remember that part of the fight where one of the fighters yelled out, "And lastly, Melania Trump is an Epstein escort." Yeah, I remember that part. Hey, what's up, BD? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they all got that Trump Bible.
Painted up, and these are the new colors, red, white, and blue. And we like the baby blue, but it was time for a change. And this is the sleekest line. Everything was designed good. It was my taste, I will say. He said, "What color do you like?" I said, "I like the color of the American flag," right? That makes sense. So we have that, and all of the planes in the fleet are being changed into this look, which is a much better look and a more appropriate look. But this plane is the first successful example of a real transformation of something that was built at the highest level and now had to be changed a little bit. We have communication equipment up there that's nobody's ever seen before. It's the highest level. And including Starlink. My friend Elon is going to be very happy. But Starlink, and we have 4 or 5 different sets of double and triple communications like people haven't seen, and it represents what can happen with hard work, innovation, and aggressive timelines, because we did this quickly, and yet there's never been communication like is on this plane. Our pilots are incredible. When you fly the president, not me, just the president, but they say there's a rumor that when you fly the president, you have to be the best pilot. So my pilot's very good. Raise your hand, pilots. He took me in the other plane over, the National Collegiate game, the championship game. I say, "Do me a favor, buzz the stadium." As we arrived at the stadium, people going crazy. I said, "Cap, I didn't mean you had to go that low, Cap." He seriously buzzed. He even did a little dip right in the middle. I said, "What the hell is going on?" But no, we have our best flight. That's the way it should be. Marine One, the helicopters, and the plane. When you get to pilot for a president, that's your best. So thank you very much. Great. We're going to have a lot of fun together. But our pilot.
Yeah, Grandpa needs to retire to like a retirement home.
Designers and engineers prepared an aircraft that is the largest Air Force One ever built. It flies further and faster than any Air Force One. Those are the giant engines. Those are incredible engines. It's the fastest. Flies further. You don't have to stop for fuel every few hours. You maybe will never have to stop for fuel. They call it unlimited. Well, it's pretty close to unlimited. And which is among the most beautiful aircrafts the Air Force will ever see or operate. You'll never have this opportunity again, and I want to thank everybody involved, including Tamim. But every man and woman here today should be incredibly proud of what we've all achieved, because this is representative of our country. Now when we land at airports in London and in Germany.
What are you talking about, Orange Man? You're looting our country, pal. You're robbing everyone blind.
Different places. Nobody tops this one. And that's the way we have to have it for our country. Nobody even comes close. So my return from the G7 summit was the last planned trip aboard the VC-25A. That's the 747. We'll probably do the museum thing. We'll get them fixed up a little bit, not like this one.
He's trying to give a slush fund to his insurrectionist over there, and then he also tried to steal $10 billion from the Treasury, us taxpayers.
And we'll do
That's just a few of his corruption.
museums, but they're great planes. They're great history. It's a plane that was authorized by President Ronald Reagan so many years ago. I think they had a 707 before that, and it's in his museum. And that was flown by every president since George H.W. Bush. And it was a great plane. We had very little trouble with it. And Boeing has done a fantastic job. Boeing does a great job. They charge us too much, but other than that, said you got to get the prices down. But over its lifetime, that aircraft traveled to 96 countries on 223 international trips and flew over 6 million miles. It became the most famous, and as you know, it's actually two planes, because Air Force One is actually two planes. They're totally identical. The other ones I can't. The only way I can tell is on the desk. The wood grain is slightly different. They're literally interchangeable. You can hardly tell. It became the most famous airplane in the entire world, and I want to thank Presidential Airlift Group. The Presidential Airlift Group is unbelievable, the job they've done, and the 89th Airlift Wing, who have lovingly cared for that plane. And we just very rarely had any problems, which if you know something about airplanes, you do have some difficulty. We really had very little difficulty, but age was finally catching up to it, no matter what we did.
No, there's plenty of footage out there of him saying that that he doesn't believe in no new wars. There's actually footage of him out there saying that he was calling like Obama, saying like he's gonna try to start an Iran war because he's a failure. And look who the failure is. It's Orange Man starting a never-ending war over there.
But along with the two men who have piloted it during my presidency, so I'd get to introduce, because that's very important. When you're up there at 42,000 feet going at 600-700 miles an hour, you want to be very, very nice and appreciative to your pilot. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's a bad time. You ever hear where pilots go and they ask for a raise in the middle of flight? They always ask for a raise. They're working for some rich guy and they ask for the raise in the middle of the flight, and he always says, okay. But Air Force Colonel Pete Donnelly and Lieutenant Colonel Tyler Sanborn. That's pretty good. I guess they know you. That's the best hand. You got a bigger hand than I did. That's the end of your job. I don't like that. I'm not happy about it. No, these are great pilots. These are great, very talented people. The Air Force One team and the entire Presidential Airlift Group is amazing, brilliant people. And they love our country. We are tremendously grateful for everything that you do each and every day, and all of the people that work here. Look at the condition of this and how.
Yeah, you could word salad all you want.
Everything is. It's always tippy top. It's tippy top, and we appreciate it. So we're gonna have a big July 4th at the Capitol, flying over the Capitol. The generals promised to do a lot of this stuff, not just shoot, and we never see where are they. Tell them to come back. They were so good at the fight. They did that one, and I've never seen that many. And they were right. They looked like they were a foot away from each other, going fast. I kept saying, "When are they coming back?" That was it. So we'll have them do a little bit of maneuvers back and forth. But again, you are very, very special people, and we're very, very lucky to have you. You're incredibly talented. talented and brilliant in every way. And it's an honor to be with you. And again, this really deserved a send-off because there's never been a plane like this ever built. And there will never be a plane like this built again. This has things that no other plane can ever have, including the ones that are being built, the more standard, as they call it, 747s. There will never be anything like what you're seeing behind me. So again, the press, you get ready. They're going to take you for a little tour, quickie. I think they don't want you to have cameras, so we'll get you pictures, but you'll see something like you've never seen before. And you also spend a lot of time there as we fly to different places, put out fires and other things. Thank you very much. I'm a great fan of everybody in this incredible brand new hangar. And God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, here it comes. The YMCA song.
Arguing about.
All right, so that was the end of that. Let's go check out some other stuff. I mean, it's Saturday night, Sunday morning. Let's see some other stuff before I got to go to sleep. But yeah, over here in Los Angeles, we're getting smoked out. There's this big structure fire. Can't even go outside. It's like smoke just everywhere. It's crazy. All right, so let's watch some real politicians. Let's see here. So Alyssa Slotkin, Senator Slotkin. All right, let's check this out.
Be upon place or receives ballots. It's illegal. Number two, as I just stated, when you have.
Let me rewind it to the beginning here. So this will be about 30 minutes long, 36 minutes long, actually. All right, so this is titled Senator Slotkin holds presser on bill to protect elections from military interference. So basically what Orange Man's trying to do, because they already know they're going to lose. You know, they're like 20% approval rating and all that. So they're trying to do this like Save the Maggot Act because they know they're on a sinking shit. And the MAGA movement's just pretty much over. So what they're trying to do is like, you know, send their goons to the polling places and this and that, violating the 10th Amendment. So these senators are passing a bill right now to not let Donald Trump do any of his corruption that he likes to do. All right, here we go.
Mic check, mic check.
We get to see when these senators pull up. Let's see here. All right, here we go. So this is Slotkin.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin from the great state of Michigan, and we are here to introduce the Protect Our Polls Act. What this bill does, essentially, is shut off avenues that President Trump can use to send our military in uniform or federal law enforcement to intervene in our elections. I want to thank my colleagues who are behind me, Senator Padilla, who heads up a lot of our election work, but then Senators Baldwin, Gallego, Kelly, and Klobuchar, who aren't here, Rosen, Warnock. We made the decision to include as original co-sponsors those of us from swing states, from states that have been targeted for our voter rolls, for states that are right now being sued by the Trump administration for our voter rolls, and where President Trump has shown a bit of an oppressive or obsessive focus on our elections in particular. It's an important signal that we're doing this together. For some of us, this is, we've already seen this movie, and I think we were debating, I think all of us were here on January 6th, 2021. So just to review the bidding, and why this bill has come together now. In May of 2020, so months and months before the 2020 elections, Trump was already talking about his lack of confidence and fraud in the upcoming 2020 elections. He said for the first time in May of 2020 that if he didn't win in 2020, then the elections were rigged. And members of Congress, members of the House and the Senate, wrote strongly worded letters. We said things on TV. But to be honest, I think we had a failure of imagination to really understand what this president would do in reality. Obviously, he lost in 2020. And the next thing we all knew, we were here on January 6th, many of us on the floor of the House, on the floor of the Senate, and in the case of myself, barricading myself in my office because of the attack on the Capitol. So I think, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And what we have done today is an attempt to try and curtail the president's ability to send uniformed military or federal law enforcement to our polls. In the last 6 months alone, the president has said that the 2020 elections were rigged over 100 times, including just this week. In the State of the Union, where we were all sitting on the House floor, he said again, if my side doesn't win in November of 26, then the elections were rigged. Back in 2020, I will take note, he drafted an executive order that called on the National Guard to seize ballots and voting machines in purple states, including the state of Michigan. He did not sign that executive order, but in January of this year, regretted that he didn't sign that executive order. He told a journalist, I wish I had sent in the uniformed military to collect ballots back in 2020. He's demanding the voter rolls for over 30 states, including the state of Michigan. And then just recently is trying to change the laws of the U.S. Postal Service and ban voting by mail in states that refuse to hand over their voting rolls. He is trying to nationalize the elections, and he is telling us in his own words what he's trying to do. On top of that, Trump's nominees for his cabinet positions have come up here and refused to rule out uniformed military or federal law enforcement being sent to the polls on election day. I personally have asked 5 different cabinet officials whether they would rule this out, whether it was okay to deploy the uniformed military or federal law enforcement to our polls, from Secretary Hegseth to Secretary Mullen. None of them would unilaterally rule it out. So instead of waiting to see what happens in 2020, we are trying to take some action here. So we're introducing Protect Our Polls Act, and it does 3 big things. Number 1, it requires that President Trump come to Congress to get approval before he would ever deploy uniformed military to our polls. There is only one legal way to send uniformed military to the polls on our books, and that is to, quote, repel armed enemies of the United States. We have never done this in our history, not during World War II when we were in the middle of combat operations, not just months after 9/11 when we had been attacked on our own soil. We have never in our history sent uniformed military into our polls during an election. So if Trump wants to do that and use this narrow exception, he should be able to come to Congress and seek our approval to do that. Number 2, it cuts off any funding for the uniformed military or federal law enforcement to seize ballots or voting machines. It is already illegal for uniformed military to touch and seize ballots and voting machines. It breaks the chain of custody and therefore threatens the enfranchisement of those voters. It makes it easier to have those votes thrown out. It is illegal right now. And we want to make sure that that is reinforced in law and that not a single taxpayer dollar can be used in any of that illegal activity. And then number 3, this bill protects our service members from illegal orders. If Trump goes ahead and tries to send our uniformed military to collect votes, to collect voting machines, this bill is meant to protect them from that illegal order, which has obviously been a big thing for me, Senator Kelly, and others. So what this comes down to is Congress trying to make it impossible for the president to steal an election. Now, the reason we're doing this today, and I'm happy to talk about it once I hand it over to the team, and not doing this in any other body or in a bipartisan way, I actually tried 3 different times through the NDAA amendment process to bring up versions of this bill. We tried, and on a party line vote, all 3 of those amendments failed just last week in the NDAA markup. So we're here doing this as swing states because we think the most important thing we need to do as senators is protect our polls, protect our democracy in this election year. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Senator Baldwin.
Thank you, Senator Slotkin, for your leadership on this. I want to take a moment to underscore why this legislation is so necessary. For a year and a half, we've seen President Trump use and abuse the full force of the federal government to get what he wants. We've seen him deploy thousands of federal agents like ICE and the National Guard troops to create chaos in American cities across this country. We've also seen President Trump undermine our free and fair elections. He continues to call into question the 2020 election, which he lost fair and square. In Wisconsin, President Trump has sent the FBI to question election officials and police officers in Milwaukee, despite a recount that declared him the loser nearly 6 years ago. And by the way, this deployment of the FBI for these interviews has been quite recent. Trump is sending an unmistakable message.
Hey, what up, everyone? Hope you're all having a good weekend so far. Just want to take a little break to say what's up to everybody, give an update. We're watching this press conference that they held 2 days ago. This is on Senator Alyssa Slotkin's page. It's titled, Senator Slotkin holds presser on bill to protect elections from military interference.
Beware to anyone who gets in his way or tries to give him results that he doesn't like. That brings us to this November, when tens of millions of Americans will head to the polls to cast their ballots. The president is afraid that accountability is coming. He is showing it. If things don't go his way, he is already laying the groundwork so that he can claim fraud and cheating, the kind that only exists when his party loses. President Trump is also trying to stop Americans from being able to get to the ballot box, including repeatedly threatening to deploy federal troops to polling places.
Nah, the problem is the way Trump's enforcing his immigration. He's violating everyone's civil rights, racially profiling people, violating everyone's constitutional rights, detaining people in concentration camps, kidnapping people, U.S. citizens off the streets, executing U.S. citizens, feeding people maggots, moldy bread.
Yes, sending federal armed agents to your local schools, churches, fire stations, and other polling places. Just this weekend, Home
And all his crimes against humanity.
Security Secretary Mullen said that he wouldn't rule out having ICE at the polls. We cannot allow that to happen. And that is why I am so proud to
No, they shot her first. They had already shot her, and then her dead weight. She was already dead when the car started accelerating because they already shot her. The whole video's out there. Like that agent was on a mission. Like he went around her car. There's no need to explain this to the maggots because they're already all Stockholm syndromed out and brainwashed.
the Protect Our Polls Act.
You can show the maggots the truth, and they'll still say, "Oh yeah, it's taken out of context."
Alongside Senator Slotkin to stop this president from sending federal troops or armed agents into our polling places. Americans want to be able to vote freely without Donald Trump sending in armed troops to stop them. The only reason for the military to be at our polling places is intimidation. The only result will be stopping eligible and legal voters from showing up and having their voices heard. We all agree that our democracy works best when more.
Hey, what's up, Amber Leslie? Good to hear from you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Americans participate. Congress must step up and work to protect Americans' rights to show up to the ballot box and have their voices heard. That starts by stopping President Trump from using the US military and federal agents to intimidate eligible voters. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Senator Baldwin. Thank you, Senator
Padilla.
Slotkin, for organizing us and leading us in this important effort. Before I get into my prepared remarks, just 2 points of clarification.
Yeah, Donald Trump's Gestapo goons even tackled this guy at a press conference earlier last year. They tackled him and they dragged him out of the building.
Number one, I'm the only member up here who was not here in the Capitol on January 6th. My appointment to succeed Vice President Harris had been announced. So I was at home in Los Angeles working on transition, watching with my kids the developments of January 6th unfold and having to answer the question to them. Dad, really? That's where we're going? Yes. We choose to come, we choose to serve because we care about our democracy.
You're more likely to get hit twice by lightning than find somebody voting, illegally. In the last 50 years, there's only been 10 cases, and those are statistics coming from the Heritage Foundation.
We will defend it. The other point of clarification is breaking news. California is not a swing state. But that hasn't kept President Trump from attacking California at every turn, including but not limited to the integrity of our elections. Which brings me to the point of today. So let's be clear right from the start. The right to vote.
Nah, Melania Trump's an Epstein escort.
Includes the right for citizens to be able to cast their ballot free from harassment, free from threats, and free from intimidation. There is no place at our polling sites for federal troops or federal law enforcement, including ICE. Their deployment to intimidate eligible voters is already against the law. And it's been the law of the land for a long time now, dating back to the Civil War. The law could not be clearer. But we know.
Hey, Chitlin Warrior, I had to put you in a 5-minute timeout because you were doing a personal attack towards me. We got freedom of speech, I appreciate everyone's opinions, but no need for personal attacks. But feel free to come back in 5 minutes if you want to share your input without personally attacking anyone.
Trump and his administration does not have respect or appreciation for the rule of law, which is why we need to pass the Protect Our Polls Act, so Congress can stop any attempts by the president to use federal forces to intimidate voters or interfere with our elections. And no, folks, this is not a hypothetical concern. Trump has been clear that he expects the next DNI to continue investigating the big lie. Just imagine what Bill Pulte might do with sensitive information at his fingertips, whether it's attacking opponents or finding new dangerous ways to advance Donald Trump's conspiracy theories and efforts to, quote, take over elections.
What's up, Glenn Levy? See that's okay. Whatever, that's your opinion. You made your opinion without personally attacking someone. That's fine.
2020 election, Donald Trump did indeed want to send troops to polling places to seize voting machines. And as you've heard recently, he's publicly said that he regrets not doing it. This is not a hypothetical. Trump former advisor Steve Bannon.
Yeah, is that right, Glenn Levy? What are you going to report it for? Your feelings being hurt?
Publicly declared, quote, "You're damn right. We're going."
Yeah, try going to your right wing MAGA orange ball licking channels, and they won't even respond to you.
ICE surround the polls come November. And every time Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Mueller are asked about sending federal troops to election sites, we hear a lot of hemming and hawing. We hear a lot of dodging and deflecting, but they leave the door open to the possibility and waiting to slam it shut. Every American and every member of Congress should be.
Hey, by the way, what's up, Kitty? What's up, Glenn? What's up, Martin? What's up, Bug? What's up, Amber Leslie? What's up, Martin? Yellow Summer, what's happening? How's it going? Hey, welcome everybody. Just gonna hang out for like an hour or two watching various stuff that's happened recently as far as current events goes. Appreciate everyone that's hanging out and interacting, sharing your opinions. And anyone that can and has hit the like button, appreciate it. But yeah, right now we're watching this press conference these dudes did the other day regarding Trump's trying to overtake the government again. And then after this, we'll check out some other stuff that's happened within the last like 2 or 3 days, or even this weekend. So hope everyone's having a good weekend. Thanks.
Because it's clear what they're doing. Justify the presence of federal agents at polling places around the country. And let's not pretend for a second that this has anything to do with election security. Because first, it is already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. And second, despite years of conspiracy theories from Trump and his allies, there is zero evidence of massive voter fraud. So this is not about election security, it's about intimidation, plain and simple. And with the public support for this administration plummeting after 18 months of the public watching the chaos, the brutality, the overreach, the grifting, and yes, skyrocketing cost of living, intimidating voters apparently is the last card they have left to play as they desperately try to hold on to power after the midterm elections. The Democrats will not allow that to happen. The right to vote is the very foundation of every other right that we hold dear, and we're going to protect it. Let's pass the Protect Our Polls Act. And now I'll turn it over to my friend and colleague from my neighboring state of.
So yeah, you hear that, everyone? Vote yes on the Protect the Polls Act, which is ridiculous in the first place because the 10th Amendment already protects us from all that. So, and vote no on Orange Clown's Save the Maggot Act, which is unconstitutional.
Senator Ruben Gallego.
Thank you. A swing state. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And unfortunately, I was here on the floor of January 6th on the House side, trying to protect Arizona's electoral decision, which was being contested by Republicans and by Donald Trump without any proof, obviously, of electoral fraud. And then the violence that came upon us. And I was one of the last members of Congress to leave the floor that day. Even before that, I'm a very proud Marine, served in the United States Marine Corps.
Hey, what's up, Ebony?
One of the things I'm very proud of is that I serve to protect the Constitution of the United States and our democracy. I swore that oath. And the last thing any Marine, sailor, Army, Coastie, Air Force, spaceman, whatever they call them nowadays, wants to do is to undermine that. You know, we're here to protect democracy. We're not here to undermine democracy. Secondarily, when you start sending our military to the polls, when you start sending our military to do, civilian enforcement of some sort, you're going to undermine the support of the military. We're no longer going to be the most trusted entity in this country, according to voters and according to everyday Americans. We're going to be seen as partisan. And this is not something that we are just thinking about. It's something that we've seen across the country, across the world, I should say. In many parts of the world where the military has been used to suppress the local citizenry, to turn over elections, to actually take ballots, that has happened. What you have seen is plummeting support for the armed services, where the armed services now becomes akin to being part of a partisan political party instead of being there for service to your country. And so I find it very scary that in all attempts that we've had to pen in this opportunity of abuse, that the Republicans have blocked it. And we're not exaggerating about the threats. Right now in Maricopa County, we have ICE investigators are investigating the 2020 election. We've seen Donald Trump repeatedly say that he wants to investigate 2020 elections. They're opening up investigations all over this country. Georgia, as of late, also they sent the former DNI down there, Tulsi Gabbard. Now they're trying to appoint a partisan DNI who does not have the policy or experience background to actually be the DNI in order for them to further.
Hey, what's up? Never under pressure. How goes it?
More conspiracy theories. And so on and on and on, every day Donald Trump is proving that he has a plan, and given the opportunity, he will try to use whatever levers of government, whether it's the military or other police forces, in order for him to stay power and to not be held accountable by the voters. So this bill is important. It's important for our democracy, and it's also important for the safety of our military members, and I'm very proud to support it. Thank you.
Happy to take some questions if there's any questions. Yes, ma'am.
U.S. Senator Padilla just stated that it's already illegal for aliens to vote in American elections, but in the state of California, you don't even need a photo ID, but you vote with gym membership. If there are no illegals voting in American elections like they're prosecuted claim, then why would military or law enforcement be problematic at those locations?
I don't know if you want to address the California.
Well, let me just address the military side of this, because it's illegal already. So we have a law that says the cadet have military Cs, be appointed police or seize ballots. It's illegal. Number two, as I just stated, when you have the military involved in this type of partisanship and this type of essentially abuse by the president or by any president, you're actually going to deteriorate the power of the military. It's no longer going to be a nonpartisan organization that our civilians are always going to trust. It's going to end up being a partisan organization. This time it'll be Republican, maybe next time it'll be a Democrat. What you're going to end up seeing is more and more the public saying, I don't want my kids to join the military because it's just going to be used to go after citizens that are just trying to vote. That's why you do it.
And can I just say, as we have been reviewing the so-called Save America Act, we've been privy to a lot of very in-depth reviews of voting in states like Utah, where they did a thorough review, in Louisiana, looking at the registration lists and finding next to zero instances of people who were not U.S. citizens trying to participate or successfully participating in elections. So there's an exaggerated sort of conspiracy out there, in my view, of meant to justify bringing in ICE or bringing in National Guard, which will only serve to intimidate ineligible voters. And we just can't allow that to happen. But I would recommend that people really, who want to be informed about this, look at how incredibly rare it is for somebody to endeavor to register to vote if they're not a U.S. citizen, or to actually, once registered, if that were to happen. It's so incredibly rare. And
Hey, what's up, Kitty Lifestyle? Hope you're having a good weekend.
The intimidation impact would really not be insignificant. It would lead to lots of eligible voters deciding not to cast their ballot. So I just think it's really important that you look very closely at the data that is out there.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the NDA process
Yeah.
already. I know that was there. Obviously, going to be 60 on the floor at some point. Is there another opportunity as this gets closer to the floor to keep pushing for this?
There certainly, as you know, with the NDAA process, you try in committee, there's floor amendments. So I think there's plenty of opportunity, both now and probably before final passage, likely in December, to reattack. We're trying to obviously do it before the November elections. And again, tried to do it in a bipartisan way through what is typically a very bipartisan process, which is the NDAA markup of the Senate Armed Services Committee. But all three amendments went down with a partisan vote, so we felt the need to do it now. Certainly, there are more and more members of the Republican side of the aisle, particularly those who have lost their elections, who are being more willing to push back on Donald Trump. And so I think that there's room for growth on the co-sponsorship list. Yes, sir. You bet.
I'm curious, I know that this bill is address November elections. I'm curious how the president's constant urging of Republicans to pass the Save America Act has kind of affected the legislative process. How has it made it harder for you all to work with your Republican colleagues on issues where there may be some bipartisan consensus from the public? Because it seems as though every piece of legislation that could move forward, the president is asking to attach a piece of legislation that you all oppose and that would be meant for your constituents. I wonder if you speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the president, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that the president is obsessed with the fact that he lost the 2020 election. And he's telling us every opportunity he has that he is trying to change the outcome of the 2026.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hey, what up, Kitty? What up, Madame? Yeah, that the First Lady, Michelle Obama, yeah, she gave an awesome speech. We'll actually check that out before I log off. I actually have that in the queue. So at some point before I log off in the next hour or two, we'll check out Michelle Obama's speech.
You don't have to guess, right? And I give credit to my Republican colleagues who have been resisting what they understand to be a very bad bill, particularly bad for married women in this country, would disenfranchise huge numbers, millions and millions of married women. But I think there are plenty of places where we can move bipartisan bills forward, things that just make sense. That should be passing unanimously, but because the president is trying to dictate and get this done under the wire, he's affecting things. Because he can't get the SAVE Act done, he's now turned to the Postmaster General and the post office folks and tried to say, well, you can't vote by mail unless I approve it, and the Postmaster General approves it. So he's trying and bobbing and weaving every way he can. And certainly there's probably 30 pieces of legislation we can come up with today that would be bipartisan, ready to go. But the president is trying to dictate what he wants to swing the outcome of the elections. You bet. Joey.
Thanks, Senator. You previously called the attention of the president for urging troops to resist illegal orders. I'm wondering if this doesn't pass and the president does direct troops to political sites. Do you have a message to the troops of what they should do?
I mean, I think, look, I stand by the video that myself and Senator Mark Kelly and others made in November. We were quite literally quoting the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Right now, it is illegal for uniformed military to seize ballots or voting machines. It's illegal. And actually, it's one of the few places in law where individual soldiers can be held personally liable with up to 5 years in prison. So it's already enormous risk if the president sends troops in against the law. Those individual troops that are taking those ballots and machines can be prosecuted individually. Very rare in our. So my message to the troops is go with your training. Your training from the very beginning when you start service is that if you are asked to do something illegal, you have a responsibility to push back, to go speak to your local JAG officer and get guidance when you need it. And that goes for whether you're prosecuting things down in South America, in the Middle East, or whether you're in uniform and being sent into the United States, claiming to be involved in protecting our polls. Ask those tough questions. That's what the training calls you to do. So I stand by that message, and I think there is nothing more important, I think, in my job in protecting our democracy. And we're putting this out there and being so clear about it now so that there's no question that if the president tries to do this and tries to send ICE or the uniformed military into our polls, that the American public is immunized against that idea. And if the president feels like there's such a threat, right, that he needs to send in the uniformed military for the first time in our history, come to Congress and show your work. Show your math. Explain to us what's such a threat that we didn't need to send in uniformed military after 9/11. During World War II, in the middle of world wars, we managed to help hold our democracy. We have every ability to do that now, and our uniformed military do not want to be sent into their own states, their own communities, to do something illegal, and they shouldn't. Any last question? Okay, thanks everybody, appreciate it.
All right, so that's the end of that press conference right there. But yeah, midterms are coming up. It's going to be a blue wave tsunami. That's why all the maggot politicians are all in panic mode, because they know they're going to lose. So they're doing anything they can to like rig it and cheat. But it ain't happening, guys, because we're taking back the Senate and the House, and we're going to impeach, remove, and imprison all those maggot treasonous politicians. And we're going to go into all the red states, and we're going to clean them up, bring back some law and order. All right, let's go check out Michelle Obama's speech here.
What a beautiful day, right? Nothing like.
Yeah, the real first lady right here. Unlike Melania Trump. And she came over here on a so-called Einstein visa. She ain't no Einstein.
Husband to bring out the sun. Let me start by thanking Addison for that magnificent introduction and for exemplifying the heart, excellence, and determination that has blossomed right here on the South Side for a very long time. I also want to send some love to everyone who made this day a reality. The construction workers, landscapers, designers.
Hey, Amber, you still in here? Because if you are, let me know if I can make you a mod, because we're about to play 20 minutes of Michelle Obama. And all these racist maggot orange ball licking clowns are going to try to come in here and say spread their bigotry. So feel free to deport them back to Jonestown. So if you're still in here, Amber, I'm going to shoot you a blue wrench.
The architects, artists, chefs.
All right, cool. Hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to shoot you a blue wrench. So if you hear any of these maggot cult members saying anything racist, feel free to deport them. We got freedom of speech, but we don't tolerate racism.
Staff, our board members, our donors. Barack and I simply cannot thank you enough for the care and brilliance you poured into every square inch of this campus. I also want to recognize all of the elected officials and.
But yeah, if you hear any of these maggots saying any racist remarks, no need to ban them. Just send them back to Epstein Island for 24 hours.
Leaders from around the city, the state, the country, and yes, the world. Thank you for being here to celebrate with us, especially to all of my fellow formers, to Joe
Thanks, Amber.
and Jill, George and Laura, Bill and Hillary. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service to our country over so many years. And for your constant friendship and support of our family. We love you guys truly. Oh, to our daughters, Malia and Sasha, who will always be my babies.
Oh, nice. Did you guys see George Bush back there? That's cool.
To our daughters, Malia and.
I mean, as bad as George Bush was, man, I was not a fan of the Bushes at all, but man, Trump sure makes me miss the Bushes, that's for sure. I mean, Trump makes Nixon look like a choir boy. But there's Bush, there's Bush right there. Yeah, this rally that they had was amazing. It shows what America's really all about. Unlike Trump over there, Orange Man Trump, with this greed and corruption.
Who will
Yeah, I think Bush and Michelle Obama are actually like they built like a friendship over the years.
always be my babies. Even though we're no longer playing hide and seek on the South Lawn with Bo or hosting sleepovers in the solarium. I see a lot of some sleepover girls here. You both have grown into such brilliant and beautiful young women, making your way out there in the world. Thank you for bringing so much joy and spirit and energy to a life you had no voice in choosing, and for making us proud every step of the way. Love you, babe. Oh, so please indulge me for a moment, because I'm gonna take a little time to do something that I know my husband will not do today, and that is to fully sing his praises. Barack, you gotta look at me. You told me all those years ago that you couldn't promise me the world, but you could promise me an interesting life. And of course, you outdid yourself and
That's an awesome picture. I love that picture right there, the Obamas. Oh man, that brings a smile. That warms up my heart. That's a great picture right there. That must have been like early 90s. Wow, that's amazing. Gave me goosebumps.
to give me both.
Like, you ain't gonna find any pictures like that of Trump with any of his ex-wives. They all hate him. He cheated on all of them.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but there hasn't been a single second through this experience that standing by your side hasn't left me in awe. 8 years in the crucible, and not once did you melt from the heat. Not once did you let it harden you. Instead, you used it to reveal your truest essence, your stubborn optimism and unflinching courage.
Bill Clinton back there.
Your dazzling brilliance
And Hillary.
unpretentious decency.
Oh, I gotta rewind that for a second.
Your stubborn optimism.
Look at that. We got Bill. We got Bill Clinton, Hillary, and Obama right there. That's awesome. And none of them are in the Trumpstein files.
And unflinching courage, your dazzling brilliance and unpretentious decency, your ferocious work ethic, and absolutely unshakable moral fiber. And to do it all as a first, and the higher standard that comes with all that, the claims that a U.S. senator and constitutional law expert wasn't qualified for the job, the lies about your birthright, your faith, your patriotism, the outrage when you stated the biological fact that if you had a son, that he too would be Black. Yet, you were unflappable at every turn, always focused, always calm, always looking at the long view. How absurd it is to even imagine that you might have buckled under the pressure even once, lashed out in frustration, lost your temper. How absurd it is to imagine that you might have done anything but make our family and this entire country proud. No, you were too busy.
Look at all those people right there. Oh, man. Compared to Trump's clown shows, this is a real party right here.
got done. So much to say. You were doing the people's work, rescuing our economy, expanding healthcare, ending a war, ordering the Bin Laden raid, saving an auto industry, winning a peace prize. Keeping us safe from Ebola, regulating the banks, standing up for marriage equality, listening to science, and comforting an entire nation in the face of unspeakable tragedies. And you did it all with such grace and class and cool that you made the hardest job in the world look like a walk in this beautiful park. Your mother, Toot, Gramps, you are a tribute to their love.
Wow. That's a cool picture right there, too. So it's Obama as a kid. He must have been like 4 years old right there with his mom. Look how happy they are. That's awesome.
They're grinning and hugging today because you never forgot who you are and where you came from. Single mother, working hard to get by and get an education and show her son the world. Grandparents who didn't have much, but they had the perfect recipe to nurture your flame. You never forgot the folks in the union halls and church basements here in Chicago, where you first put your ideals to this test. You never forgot all the voters you registered and students you taught and neighbors you organized. You never fell for the temptation of a quick fix or an easy payday. You never changed from that idealistic summer associate who showed up on that rainy day when we first met without an umbrella. You always gave us the very best within you. And in doing so, you reminded the rest of us that we could too. Barack, there are no words to express how proud I am of the way you showed up and continue to show up every single day. It has been an honor to be by your side. You have made me a better person and have given us all an example that we should strive to emulate. And I hope you know, there is truly no higher calling than that. All right. To all of you joining us today, our invited guests, and everyone listening and watching from afar. The Obama Presidential Center was created as a beacon of hope, a monument to our unshakable values, the ones my husband has exemplified his entire life: equality, empathy, honesty, inclusion, fairness. And especially during these anxious and divisive times, it is so important that we remember that those values are not unique to my husband. They're the same ones that your husbands and wives, your parents and children, your friends and neighbors exhibit and pass on. Every single day, millions of people in this country wake up doing their very best to live decent and purposeful lives. Yeah, we're all tested in one way or another. And there are plenty of times we all fall short. But deep down in our hearts and souls, we all know right from wrong. We know selflessness from greed, righteousness from injustice. We understand that we all rise and fall together, that every last one of us is an invaluable contributor to the greatness of America. Now I'm talking about the workers living paycheck to paycheck, hoping to give their kids a better future. The teachers using their own money to take their students on field trips. The business owners struggling to meet payroll but refusing to close their doors. All those folks sweating over stoves to provide meals for their communities. Folks shivering in the freezing cold to deliver our packages. Picking up trash to keep our parks clean. Volunteers dedicating their weekends to coaching t-ball.
Oh, hey, what's up, Amber? I noticed you put Yellow Summer in a timeout. I think Yellow Summer was saying something positive, actually, about Michelle.
Directing the church choir or mentoring a child. That's where the truth of this country lies. Not in grabbing as much as we can get for ourselves or knocking folks down to prop ourselves up, but in the overwhelming goodness,
All right, sounds good, Amber, thanks.
striving, the quiet dignity that is.
But yeah, we got freedom of speech over here, everybody. You know, we got thanks Amber for accepting to be a moderator. You know, so everyone, you know, we don't tolerate any kind of racist comments. So if anyone says anything racist, Amber or I will send you guys back to Jonestown. But other than that, you know, everyone's opinions are welcome.
Side, all of us. Our greatest hope is that this center can reflect back just a fraction of that light. That it can capture the beauty of who we.
No, every once in a while you'll get this MAGA cult member that, you know, they like to spew their racism and their bigotry.
Are. No matter what we look like, or where we come from, or how much money we earn, or how we pray, or vote, or speak, or love. It's why during our administration, we threw open the White House doors to all sorts of folks who don't usually get to meet the president or first lady. The families pinching pennies to send their first child to college. The teenagers who know that a hot afternoon means the bullets start flying. The military spouses and children serving and sacrificing just like their loved ones in uniform. The Native kids showing us that resilience and pride can never be stolen. The 4-Hers and FFA members with calluses on their hands from feeding livestock. The immigrants proving what it truly means to.
Hey, Yellow Summer, I'm kind of confused by your comment. Are you talking about she needs to speak to the animals, as in animals being Orange Man, Orange Clown, and his cabal? Question mark.
A dreamer. These folks aren't Americans too. They are America. They are the beating heart of this country. They are us and we are them. And to ignore this simple truth,
Okay, Yellow Summer, I see what you mean there. So you mean you wish the animals, aka Orange Man and his cabal, had a voice like this? Got it. Makes sense. Yep, I agree.
To respect the contributions and experiences of people who aren't exactly like us. Y'all puts us all at risk. Failing to see the humanity in all people puts us all on a slippery slope. And once that slide starts, there's no telling where it stops. A dangerous precedent that flies in the very face of our faith and of the founding promise of this democracy, that all of us are created equal. That each of us is a child of God with inherent value. And no one, and I mean no one, has the right to sit in judgment of who's American enough.
Hey, what's up, Saber? Hey, happy weekend, buddy. Hope you're having a good weekend. Good to see you.
And that's why, folks, we simply don't have the luxury or time to be cynical or complacent, to wring our hands in despair, to wait for someone else to fix the problem. Y'all, hope is all we have, because hope is the essential spark that lights the fire of change. But hope is a choice. Whether or not we use our voices to speak up is a choice. Voting is a choice. Being a decent human being is a choice. Believing that we still hold the power to build a country that reflects us all is a choice. The Obama Presidential Center is a living testament to the power of choice, y'all. The historic example that millions of you gave the world about what this imperfect democracy has strived for and achieved. And an urgent call to go out there and do it again. So I hope that when you walk through this campus and bring your children here, you are reminded of the power of choice.
Hey, what's up, MM? Hey, thank you for that comment. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And the steady work of change. The arduous, unglamorous march up that mountain, one foot after another, day after day, generation after generation. But I also hope you fully absorb the elation of achieving something together. You know, that feeling when you clear the tree line and see a vista that takes your breath away. A feeling that can never be erased. And I know that can be hard to grasp right now, when everything feels so upside down, when fact and fiction run together, when folks seek to stifle speech, limit access to education, devalue diversity, erase the inconvenient parts of our history, when our phones constantly buzz with the latest outrage. So I hope that this place can offer a respite from all that, at least for a little while. I hope it can reignite the optimism and empathy and ambition that has always powered this country's greatest change. So we want you to come here and put away your phones and talk and laugh and cry, because you're gonna cry, and make new friends. Get your hands dirty in my garden. Push your baby on a swing in the playground. Have a romantic picnic on the great lawn. Because that's the work of democracy too. Being neighborly, taking care of public spaces, having some fun, enjoying each other, shaking out of the isolation and division that have crept too deeply into our lives. And to my fellow Southsiders, I want you all to make this campus a part of your lives. Be inspired by the world-class art. Check out the books from our beautiful public library and bring them back on time. Drop some beats in the recording studio, hit some corner threes at home court, hold birthday parties, jumpstart clothing drives, host city.
Yeah, anyone that comments any kind of like stupid Michelle Obama man jokes, automatic 24-hour timeout.
Updates here. Use this campus to show off this place we call home. This joyful place where Marion and Fraser Robinson taught their two kids to dream big. This hopeful place where an unknown guy with an unknown name took flight. This stubbornly optimistic place where family after family scrapes and claws and laughs and dances their way to a better tomorrow. That's what this has always been about. Barack and I have always said that this center is grounded in our stories, but it has never been about us. It's never been.
Hey, Raptor. Hey, that was actually kind of funny. I accidentally put you in timeout, but I changed it to just a 10-second timeout. I read it wrong, but that's funny how you wrote, that's a ma'am. M-A-M. I like that. That's hilarious. That's a ma'am.
Us. And it's going to be here long after we're gone. So what it becomes and how it's preserved, that work has to be done by all of us, just like our democracy. And thankfully, you have shown the world what we are capable of. You've proven that a lasting legacy isn't an award or a name on a building or a number of zeros in a bank account, but the difference we make in one another's lives.
Hey, what's up, Cindy Prim?
It's about seeing each other and showing up for each other and carrying each other when we're weary or faltering or losing faith. That's how you build something that endures. And that's what you all have done at every twist and turn of this extraordinary journey. You have protected and proclaimed the hope that beats within the heart of this campus. You've rekindled and renewed this.
Yeah, I've never been to Chicago, but I would go visit Obama's new library. It looks like a cool looking building.
Untamable, unpredictable, and unbreakable democracy. And I know that you all are going to astonish us even more in the months and years ahead, because you all have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that when we truly see each other, when we strive to bring out the best in ourselves and one another, oh, there is no limit to how high we can go. Thank you all. I love you all.
Oops. All right, so that was the end of Michelle Obama's speech right there. Pretty legendary, if you ever ask me. All right, let's go check out some other stuff that's in the queue here. So let's go to the Senate House. Let's go to the Capitol Hill here. There's a senator named Jack Reed. All right. So this just happened the other day, like 2 days ago. So this is titled Jack Reed sounds alarm on Hegseth's campaign to politicize the U.S. military. So I haven't seen this yet. So I'm going to watch this for my first time. So let's see what it's all about.
Mr. President, I rise today to speak about the United States military and its role as an apolitical institution. For 250 years, our military's most important source of strength has been the trust of the American people. Their trust is hard-won and relies upon the belief that our military remains above politics. I fear that trust is being eroded by the current Secretary of Defense. I want to begin with Dwight Eisenhower. This month marks the 82nd anniversary of D-Day and the American invasion at Normandy. General Eisenhower spent the night before those landings walking among the men he was sending into battle, asking where they were from, what they did back home, how was their families. He wrote 2 messages after that meetings. The rallying call for the soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force was one of his messages. But a second message, a message he hoped no one would ever read, was written in case the landings failed. It read, "If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine alone." Fortunately, he never had to send it. But he wrote it because he understood that the privilege of command carries the full weight of its consequences. In 1947, Eisenhower addressed the graduating class at West Point. He had just finished commanding the largest military campaign in human history and witnessed the deaths of hundreds of thousands of young Americans. He knew what war was, and this is what he told the cadets. War is mankind's most tragic and stupid folly. 15 years later, General Douglas MacArthur, no stranger to war himself, again stood at West Point and said, "The soldier above all other people prays for peace." Those commanders understood that lethality is a terrible tool and humility is paramount in warfare. Last weekend, Pete Hegseth traveled to Normandy to observe the D-Day anniversary. He stood at the American Cemetery above the beaches where more than 2,500 Americans died in a single morning. Standing on that sacred historic site,
He's talking about the original Antifa right here, the ones that stormed the beaches of Normandy.
Secretary Hegseth did not use his platform to express humility or unity, but to preach an anti-immigrant message. He said, "Sadly, today, different European beaches are stormed by different dangerous ideologies. Beaches in Spain, Italy, Greece, and Bulgaria, boats and men arrive. When will European capitals do something about that invasion?" Well, many historians and veterans, hearing his words, called his speech grotesque. I would call it a desecration, and an ignorant one also. I doubt the secretary knows that during World War II, more than 300,000 foreign-born individuals served in the United States Army alone. More than 109,000 of them were not even American citizens. They were men and women who crossed an ocean to fight and die for a country that had not yet fully claimed them and who earned their citizenship through their service. Hundreds of thousands more were first-generation Americans, the children of immigrants. For example, U.S. Navy coxswain Amin Isbia, the son of Syrian immigrants who settled in Pittsburgh, was among the first men off his landing craft when it reached Omaha Beach under heavy fire. After securing his landing craft from the beach, he was killed by a German shell while helping load a fellow wounded soldier onto a stretcher. Coxswain Isbia and countless heroes like him are buried at Normandy. The sons and daughters of immigrants or immigrants themselves. Yet Secretary Hegseth stood above their graves and used the moment to deride the kind of people they were. Last month, Secretary Hegseth got his own chance to address West Point cadets at their commencement, where Eisenhower and MacArthur spoke of wisdom, humility, and caution. Pete Hegseth boasted about lethality, claimed that West Point had turned into woke Princeton, and made such bluster as, "You can't throw your pronouns at the enemy." He told the class of 2026, the most diverse class in the history of the United States Military Academy, that strength in diversity is, quote, "the single dumbest phrase in military history." He mocked the service of women officers and criticized those with non-conservative political beliefs. He told a captive audience of newly commissioned officers that the presence of their classmate with different beliefs and demographics represented a lowering of standards. It was a shameful, divisive, and self-centered speech. Mr. President, I attended West Point as a cadet. I taught there as a professor. I served on active duty as an Army officer. I hope I know what West Point stands for and what its graduates embrace. Principled leadership to serve their soldiers and the nation. Where past leaders asked West Point cadets to understand the economic, political, and spiritual aspirations of other peoples, to devote their lives as seriously to leading towards peace as preparing for war, Hegseth gave them a culture war speech. Indeed, as James Bennett observed in The Economist, where past military leaders treated violence as a tragic necessity, Hegseth celebrated as a righteous and thrilling. His hyper-partisan remarks were both morally and factually wrong. But, Mr. President, this was not an isolated incident. It is a part of a pattern of partisan political behavior antithetical to the role of the Secretary of Defense. Last month, Secretary Hegseth traveled to Kentucky to campaign for a Republican House candidate the day before a primary election. He stood on a stage, attacked a sitting Republican member of Congress, and told,
Hey, what's up, Saber? Oh yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, honestly, I don't. I'm gonna remove the mod because sometimes I feel like I don't know. Let's see here. So Amber Leslie, thanks for being a mod during the Michelle Obama speech. I appreciate it. I had to make Amber a mod during the Michelle Obama speech because there's a lot of racist, bigoted maggots out there, so we had to deport them back to Jonestown. But other than that, yeah, Saber, appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that's hanging out.
to send a different person to Washington. He announced a disclaimer.
But Amber Leslie's been hanging out for a while too, so that's why I trusted her with being a mod. But everyone's got different opinions. That's why I like to just have an open chat. We got freedom of speech over here, but obviously no racism, no personal attacks, no spamming.
Apparently, quote, for the lawyers, that he was there in his personal capacity. That disclaimer is void. The Secretary of Defense does not have a personal capacity. He represents at every moment this nation and its military forces. Indeed, this trip seems to violate the Defense Department's own political activity rules, which expressly prohibit Senate-confirmed officials from taking an active part in political campaigns. The department rules are...
I feel more as if this is the people's chat, if you ask me, because, without YouTubeville watching this, I'd be watching this if I wasn't live streaming, so I figured the only reason I'm live streaming it is so we can all have like a, little town hall, we can all, interact and discuss and everything, like somewhat civil human beings, but this day and age, Orange Man out there, he's trying to like divide America and this and that. So I don't know. If anything, I feel like having like a freedom of speech chat room, I don't know, might help somewhat. I don't know. But I appreciate anyone that's hanging out.
Even making speeches or knocking doors constitutes a prohibited political act for someone in Hegseth's position. Pete Hegseth arrived in Kentucky as a civilian leader of the most powerful military on earth, in the middle of an active war. The secretary travels with him. He can't leave it at the office. The authority of the office travels with him. And every service member watching the news understood exactly what they were seeing. The man who controls their careers, their promotions, and their deployments, inserting himself into a partisan election on behalf of the president's favorite candidate. This was an abuse of office and created an image that every Secretary of Defense, in my memory, has worked to.
Hey, what's up? I don't know, Dave. That's funny. Truth Social.
The Kentucky Party's own former spokesperson questioned whether Secretary Hegseth violated the Hatch Act, and numerous independent groups have filed complaints.
Oh yeah, the whole Trump cabal, they're violating the Hatch Act since the day he took office.
Pentagon's Inspector General. Mr. President, This isn't about my opposition to the Secretary or President Trump. I'm driven by the corrosive impacts of his rhetoric, his actions, and what they mean for the strength of our volunteer military. We need to think about what this means for the men and women in uniform who serve under this secretary. They took an oath to the Constitution, not to a political party, not to a candidate, not to a president. The Uniform Code of Military Justice restricts their partisan activity precisely because we have always understood that a politicized military is a dangerous military. And now our service members are watching their Secretary of Defense do what they are forbidden to do. What message does that send? What chilling effect does it have on good order and discipline throughout the ranks? Secretary Hegseth has personally intervened in the careers of nearly 50 senior officers we know of, firing them or blocking their promotion without explanation. Just last month, we learned he has personally blocked and delayed the promotions of dozens of top-performing Navy and Air Force officers, the majority of whom are women and minority officers. These are leaders selected by their peers based on merit and performance in a promotion system that has functioned on those principles for generations. The chilling effect is real. Senior officers across the force are asking themselves whether their professional military advice, the kind that keeps soldiers alive, will cost them their careers. And this is not hypothetical. We've already seen it happen. General Cruz, the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, was fired last year after his analysts produced an intelligence report that contradicted the Secretary's public claims about Iran. The message was received by those today, more than 100 days into a war with Iran. I would also note that under United States law, only the president may remove an officer from a promotion list. Secretary Hegseth has refused to explain why or how he believes he has the authority to terminate or delay these officers' careers. And of course, there is the Kid Rock incident. In March.
Oh yeah, the Kid Rock incident. Pete Hegseth over there flying military helicopters for Kid Rock's pleasure while he's on the balcony of his mansion.
Army Apache helicopters flew to the Nashville home of Kid Rock, a well-known Trump supporter, and hovered over his pool while he filmed them for social media.
Kid Rock's a horrible human being.
This was an obvious violation.
Not to mention, he has absolutely no talent. All his music sucks. That's all the MAGA cult members got is Kid Rock and the YMCA song they hijacked.
Of military protocol and aviation safety laws. And the Army.
Well, Obama, he had Pearl Jam, he had Stevie Wonder, he had Bruce Springsteen perform. Like, even Milli Vanilli canceled on Orange Man.
It launched an investigation and suspended the crews. But within hours, Secretary Hegseth intervened. He posted on social media, quote, "No punishment, no investigation, carry on, patriots." The Army's chain of command was overruled by a tweet because the man being...
Oh yeah, for sure, Saber. Yeah, exactly. That's what they got. Vanilla Ice and Kid Rock. Bunch of talentless wannabe musicians.
Was a friend of the president. Secretary Hegseth later doubled down by taking Kid Rock for a ride in an Army Apache helicopter as part of a promotional video. Mr. President, the Army's aviation safety regulations exist for a reason. The chain of command exists for a reason. It ensures commanders hold each other and their troops accountable, that those who break regulations face consequences, and that military assets are used for legitimate operational needs, not political theater. When the Secretary of Defense short circuits good order and discipline to benefit a political ally, he does not just bend the rules. He signals to every officer that accountability is conditional on politics. These actions are emblematic of the Secretary's broader focus on his own personal agenda. In the past 3 months alone, while our service members have been fighting and dying overseas, he has taken it upon himself to cancel flu vaccine requirements, repeal firearm restrictions on military posts, bar service members from attending certain universities, and upend the chaplain corps. My point is this. Secretary Hexas is behaving as though his time as Defense Secretary is an opportunity to impose his personal political views on our military men and women. He is wrong. The Office of Secretary of Defense is about leading millions of American service members of every faith, race, and gender with the character and composure they deserve. The military's apolitical mission is not incidental to its strength. It is foundational to its strength. When the Secretary of Defense uses his office to promote a sectarian vision of his culture war, he does not inspire the force, he divides it. Taken together, the Secretary's actions are an assault on the norms, traditions, and structures that have kept the American military the most trusted institution in this country for 250 years. Good order and discipline is not a slogan. It means that the rules apply to everyone, including the leaders at the top. It means that accountability flows both ways, and that promotions are based on merit, not loyalty to a party. And it means that service members of every faith and background are welcomed and respected. Secretary Hexas is undermining every one of those tenets. Our service members deserve better, and we have an obligation as a body, this Senate, to say so plainly and to counter this abuse of power.
All right, so that was Jack Reed from the Senate floor the other day. All right, let's move on. So he's calling out Pete Kegsbreth and all his bogusness. All right, let's go check out Michelle Obama did an interview. Let's check this out. This just happened yesterday. All right, here we go. Let's check out this Michelle Obama interview here. Hey, if you're still here, Saber, let me know if you want to be a mod for this segment, because you know Michelle Obama always brings out the racist, bigoted maggots.
Together.
Yeah.
And they caught
Indijeka Crosby.
Let's give her her flowers.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see you see it for the first time.
Yeah.
The video was released, and your expression was priceless.
No, no, what was it?
I mean, you were just like wide-eyed,
Yeah.
and partly, because it's a beautiful piece of art. I imagine you were surprised in the size.
It is beautiful. Was there anything that surprised you?
It's not just your story. It's probably going to be a choke point in the museum because you see so many different images.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Amber Leslie seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. She's been around pretty much. I forget when she pulled up to the channel, but yeah, she's definitely not a Kool-Aid drinker.
That's also the artist's approach, which is why I love Indijeka, the artist. All of her paintings are paintings within paintings, pictures and images within. When you step
Nah, James Brown, you just can't handle the truth, buddy.
and see the bigger image and then slowly get closer and see the power of all the selections of images and where she placed them and why she placed them there. I mean, it's like, where's Waldo for the Obama administration, So, for example, she decided to put in the backdrop a window that has my childhood home. And in the windows...
That's such an amazing portrait. Man, whoever did that portrait of the Obamas, deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. That's amazing right there. Look at that portrait. Hey, you guys remember when I forget what the event was, but Donald Trump had some kind of like a rally or some kind of dinner. It was like a really weird event, and then they had like some lady like painting, like just doing some like weird ass like air painting. But yeah, like compare that to this. It's night and day.
Stairs. It's the image of Barack and my mom's.
And then Donald Trump sold that ridiculous painting for like $1 million.
On the sofa the night of the election when his name was called. It is a very powerful image where, Mom, she's just got the kind of, oh my goodness, it
She's
happened
sitting
look.
back in the sofa.
And she just reaches over to him and says, oh, my baby, he bit off a big thing, and it's that kind of look, but it kind of frames, it's like the center of the home and the center of the portrait.
And they're in two different windows upstairs.
Yeah,
You see, and their hand is in
Yeah.
one of the windows. I'm glad you brought her into this conversation.
Mom.
I loved your mom.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful woman.
She was something else.
And you brought her along for the journey in a very beautiful way. I remember on the morning of the inauguration, and so many people were coming wearing pictures, literally pictures pinned to their coat, bringing someone along, holding pictures in plastic baggies, bringing them there for inauguration day, bringing people along who couldn't make it all the way for the journey. That is what you did with that beautiful skirt that you wore, with a beautiful image of a young Marion Robinson. What a way to honor your mom.
Well, everybody in our lives was touched by Mom. It broke Barack down because he hadn't seen the
You had to cover for him for a while.
I know, right?
I mean, you kept talking because you gave him a moment.
Yeah. So when I walked in, I met him backstage, and he was like, "Oh," and I forgot what I was doing. I was like, "What's going on?" He was like, "You're not doing that to me, right? You just show up in this beautiful skirt." I'd already sort of recovered, so I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It was like my bad. I had gotten sort of emotionally accustomed to the beauty of it, right? So to me, it was just a beautiful dress too, beautiful skirt. So yeah, I kind of did him wrong. I should have prepped him for it, but it was also a beautiful surprise. My brother was, I think he was in the
Had he seen it before?
I forgot that nobody had seen it.
Oh, must have got to him too.
Yeah, it got to everybody. But as you said, it's, I was so glad to have her there with us. And then my team, while we were speaking on stage, they said that the minute Barack mentioned the skirt, it downpoured. Like it was clear, because afterwards they said, "Oh, it rained so hard." I was like, I didn't hear the rain. They said it rained right when Barack was talking about the skirt, and it stopped.
The ancestors.
She was there. She's like, "Go on, girl." She's like, "Aren't you something?" You know what Mom would say. She'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe this. Oh, you're just something else." So she's here, as are all of our ancestors, and not just me and Barack, the stories of our upbringing, but I think that's what resonates, and what will resonate for people of all backgrounds is they will see themselves in these floors. America will see itself, and I'm saying all of.
All right, this just has like 7 minutes left to go. So we'll ride this out to the end. And then after this is done, there's a hearing that just came out that looks pretty good. So we'll check out that hearing after this.
Regardless of political party.
What's up, Carlo?
Regardless of
Carlo the Husky wants to say hi real quick.
Like us, or have nasty things to say.
What's up, Carlo?
About us, or not, or love us.
How you doing, buddy?
You will walk
Good
through
boy.
these halls, and you will feel seen here.
What's up, buddy? How you
You
doing,
saw
pal?
something of your husband
Good boy.
in that encounter also.
Good
It was
boy.
a full circle moment because you reached out and grabbed his hand the way your mother had grabbed his.
Yeah, he's all happy.
On
course
election
you saw
night.
that.
Yes, I did. I saw it. I noticed it. And we saw his emotions, and he is someone who is free with his emotions, and you don't always see that. Okay, let me just spin backwards. You don't see it in a man. If I can get really granular, you often don't see it in a black man.
You could, because you're not supposed to. They're not supposed to be emotional.
And you don't see it in a president.
Yeah.
But you do with him.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to have someone in leadership who is willing to show their emotions? And in this process, are we seeing another facet of him?
Well, we're at a time when there's a lot of talk about what it means to be a man. It's all out there. There's a lot of mansplaining going on. And what you feel in those conversations is what we understand is that men struggle just as much as we do in figuring out who they are and where to find place. And I've said this time and time again, I don't have sons. You do. I know a lot of my friends' sons. I love these young men. But we've done a great job in our lifetime of expanding the possibilities of what women and girls can be. We've worked hard to redefine that and to say, you can take home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, right? You can do it all. You can be a mom. You can have emotion. You can be tough. You can box. You can run. You can be strong, right? You can be a musician. But during that time, I don't think we've done.
Yo, what up, LDG? How you doing? Good to hear from you. Yeah, just chilling out, watching some various clips that have happened in the last like 2 or 3 days. And then on my desktop, I got AXN News on. I'm watching AXN News at the same time. LOL. But yeah, just hanging out Sunday morning. Saturday night turned into Sunday morning. But I hope you guys are all doing well out there.
In equal justice to opening the aperture for what our men and boys can be. We've talked about this.
But yeah, for the last 2 days, I wanted to go do a live stream at the lake with Carlo the Husky. But we've been smoked out from that structure fire that's happening in East LA. It's just smoked out all of LA County. Like the air quality is just horrible. But right now it's actually not that bad. I think it just goes the way the wind goes. But hopefully tomorrow the air quality will be better and Carlo and I can do a Carlo knows I'm talking about him. Hey, you know I'm talking about you, huh, Carlo? You know that, huh? You want to go to the lake tomorrow? We'll go do a live stream adventure at the lake tomorrow, boy. Sit. You want a treat? All right, let's give Carlo a treat. He's the executive producer. Sit, boy, sit. Good boy. Stay. Well, yeah, I think tomorrow, if the air quality is better, we'll go do a live stream at the lake. So we got Carlos some treats here. We got the RFK Jr. liver. What else we got in here? Pete, the bacon cheese. Old Mother Hubbard. All right, buddy. Catch. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Give her a paw. Give her a paw. Ah, there you go. Good boy. Here, catch. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. He likes these treats. All right. One more. Sit, boy. Sit. All right, good boy. Let's see how high you can jump. Jump. There you go. Good boy. All right. Carlo wanted to make a cameo real quick. All right, let's get back to this Michelle Obama interview here. Yeah, I gotta get a new tripod, or probably a new computer where I can use OBS because like my desktop's kind of old. It doesn't support OBS, but we'll see what happens.
There's still a very narrow definition of what it means to be a man, and it's still gotta win, gotta be tough, gotta be strong. Don't let them see you hurt. You gotta make money. Gotta dominate, right? But men come in all shapes, sizes, and colors too. Temperament, we're born with it. It's not unique.
Hey, what up, Amber Ray? Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, it's all good, but it's in there if anyone wants to contribute to Carlos Fund. But yeah, starting on, because what happened to me was at the beginning of the Iran war, I forget when it was, I think end of March, early April, I played a clip of Trump's golden toilet. And I guess from wherever I played the clip from, there must have been an orange ball liquor or something, and they got me. So YouTube dropped the hammer on me. But starting in July, I'll be able to get back and reapply and get things going again.
As the female species, you know, there are a lot of young men who are born to create, like my father, who was tough and boxed and all that before he got MS. There are young men who were born to nurture, to be teachers, to work with small children. There are young men who are wonderful child psychiatrists, you know, who can empathize and help people find their voice, right? But if all they're rewarded for is win, throw the ball, catch the ball, beat up, make money. Wow, how sad it is for all the majority of men and boys who don't naturally fall into those narrow categories of what being a man is, and how sad and lonely that must be for them. So I think having leaders that model more matter, you know, and I know that Barack understands that. He's a tough guy. He doesn't cry much, but I think he has learned to let his emotions go because he knows he needs to show young men that that's okay too. It's okay to love your wife forever. It's okay not to cheat and lie. It's okay not to be a baller. It's okay to, you know, be sad when sad things happen, you know, and not have to suck it up all the time. That's really what makes you a man, is the broadness and depth of your character, and it's not just one note.
So all these maggot cult members, even let's say Michelle Obama was a man, which she's not, but let's say she was. She's still more of a man than any of these maggot cult members that have no spines or morals.
And how will boys know that if they don't see it?
I want to go back to the portrait of the two of you. That image will be in this building for a very long time. 10 years from now, 25 years from now, 50 years from now, into the next century, when people are looking back at the image of the two of you, what do you want them to see? What do you want them to remember?
I want them to see.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. The Obamas right there. So happy. I just wanted to take a little pause real quick to let everyone know it's smoke time. I got my hippie lettuce right here. Let's smoke it up, y'all. Pack your bowls if that's something you partake in, or pour yourself a little shot, or a beer or whatever, or some tea or some coffee. Because after this, we're gonna play a hearing.
A loving representation of a Black couple. And it is important that race is there because we have an ebb and flow of how we feel about people of different races. Some decades we're moving forward, and other decades it feels like, well, what happened?
Well, the funny thing about that is, with Donald Trump's unlawful war and they closed the Strait of the Hormuz, no fertilizer was getting through. So guess what happened? They started replacing fertilizer with soy. So pretty much all the MAGA cult members, whether they like it or not, they're all soy boys now. Because of Donald Trump's unlawful war.
I think we need to be reminded that excellence comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, genders. That there are many people who are great leaders, and your race, your income is the least of what makes you great. Your pedigree is the least of what makes you great. And the equanimity of our relationship, I think, is important to remember at a time when, gender roles they go up and down too. What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a wife or a husband? That they see a couple that revel in the fact that we are both equals, that's what gives us energy. And that there's love there, deep, deep love. And I like the notion that.
Hey, what's up, DZ? Yeah, Melania Epstein escort Trump doesn't go anywhere with Trump. He either stinks too bad or she just doesn't like him. Either way, she's a pathetic loser just like him anyways.
Even that story.
Because she's a pedo protector. She was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. They were like best buds. I think they have nicknames for each other. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell would call Melania Trump Sweet Pea. And Melania Trump would call Ghislaine Maxwell G.
It's a creation of many smaller stories that we didn't get where we are alone. Like, there are two people, but there are millions of people who make up that story. So I think that, the structure of the photo or of the portrait is just as important as the image that it's the two of us. That the two of us are made up of millions and millions of stories and people and experiences outside of who we are. And there are men like that all over the place. I happen to marry one of them, and I am grateful for it.
All right, cool. So that was Michelle Obama's interview right there. What's up, Carlo? Carlo keeps bringing me his duck. He wants to play tug of war. All right, let's go check out this hearing. Or you know what? Let's check out let's check out this shit. Yeah, let's check out this hearing. This looks pretty interesting. I haven't seen this yet. I kind of skimmed through it, and once I saw Sheldon Whitehouse in it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. All right, so check it out, guys. So this hearing is gonna be 54 minutes long. It's a shorter hearing than the usual hearings that we watch here. But this one just came out 2 days ago, so it's real fresh. So this one's titled Chuck Grassley Leads Senate Judiciary Committee Business Meeting on Pending Nominees and Legislation. So I have no idea what we're going to watch, but I skimmed through it, and once I saw Sheldon Whitehouse in it, I was like, all right, that's a true politician that actually has the American people's best interest in mind, so it's worth the watch. So here we go. Turn on the closed captions on.
Situation is this: we're starting at 9:00.
All right, Chuck Grassley's the chairman of this meeting, so you know what that means, guys. Got to smoke some grass to listen to this Grassley guy.
The situation is this: we're starting at 9:00.
Hey, Living Dead Girl. Hey, I'm pretty sure Chuck Grassley was probably born in 1884. LOL.
Because there's a Commerce Committee meeting that's very important at 10:00. And all the Republicans can't be here until 9:30. So we only have a window of 9:30 to 10:00 to get our nominations. We have 3 important bills on the committee. Try to work them in if we get a quorum, work them in before we do the nominations. But, we haven't met for 3 weeks because we've had attendance problems, and there's a lot of work for this committee to do. And when I say there's attendance problems, that's been more of a problem on my side of the aisle than it has been on the Democrat side of the aisle. Today's agenda, we have 8 nominations and 3 bills. 2 circuit court nominees, Benjamin Flowers, 6th Circuit, Matthew Schwartz, 2nd Circuit. We'll vote on 4 district court.
Good Lord, how's this guy even still? Man, we need some term limits, guys. What's going on over here? I have some. So, how many amendments are there? For the new amendment, I think one of them should be term limits, and another amendment should be like limiting presidential pardons. Because Donald Trump's done so many outrageous pardons, it's ridiculous. He's been pardoning warlords, drug lords, corrupt doctors, corrupt businessmen, all kinds of scumbags. But it makes sense because, Orange Man's a scumbag anyways. So he's just going to pardon all his scumbag buddies.
Go Hendershot, Northern District, Ohio. Arthur Jones, Southern District, Texas. Jeffrey Kuntz, Southern District, Florida. John Mark, Southern District, Texas. And then we'll also vote on Don Berthiaume to be Inspector General of the Justice Department.
Last I checked, Donald Trump is sharting his pants and falling asleep during press conferences.
And Sean Costello to serve as U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Alabama. 3 bills, sunshine in the courtroom.
Or not even pants. He's sharting his diaper.
Cameras in the Courtroom Act and the No Fakes Act. 6 judicial nominees on today's agenda. I feel are highly qualified. They each have strong credentials, a long-standing commitment to the rule of law. They're going to make fine federal judges. Our other nominees are exceptional as well. I encourage my colleagues to join me in voting. We're also voting on 2 bills, which I and Ranking Member Durbin introduced this Congress. I won't go into detail about it, but it means cameras in the courtroom. Our third bill, No Fakes, is the result of a lot of hard work by Senator Blackburn and Senator Coons. And Senator Coons and Blackburn have been on me for a long time to get this bill on the agenda. So they'd like to move that today as well. It's all about protecting individuals from the exploitation by others using AI-generated digital replicas of themselves. As I said at last week's hearing, senators tell me they want to retain the blue slip practice, and obviously I agree with that. But very often these senators' conduct is destructive of the very institution they claim they want to protect.
Oh man, I can't wait till this loser stops talking and we hear somebody with some brains. That goes by the name Sheldon Whitehouse.
Practice of becoming more untenable as senators fail to work with the White House in good faith to secure district courts and U.S. attorneys. This week, President Trump announced that he wouldn't proceed with the new Director of Intelligence or approve of FISA until he gets the U.S. attorneys in the Southern District of New York. And I'd suggest to President Trump that he ought to be working with Senator Thune on the agenda for the United States Senate instead of standing in the way. For more than a year, Senator Schumer refused to return a blue slip or consider the highly qualified nominee that the president puts forth. Senator Schumer has also refused to consider any nominee for other U.S. attorney or district court seats in New York. In fact, Senator Schumer refused to even meet with the administration to find a path forward. He's never responded to their proposals or negotiated any of these vacancies.
Hey, what up, Brett? Hey, good to see you, pal. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Hey, just so you know, starting in July, we'll get back to see if you want to still be a moderator later on.
This is not sustainable. I don't.
Hey, hope you're having a good weekend.
In good faith, Democrats expect Republicans to adhere to the president and norms while at the same time, it seems to me, undermining them in the process. During the first Trump and Biden administration, senators from opposing parties returned hundreds of blue slips for district court and U.S. attorney nominees. But during this second term of Trump, they've been few and far between. And let's not forget that for the first time in recorded history, Senate Democrats still haven't allowed a single civilian nominee to be confirmed by voice votes and unanimous consents. In doing so, they wasted valuable floor time that could have been addressed with legislating meeting the needs of the American people. I know some of my colleagues, including some on this committee, have worked with the White House in good.
Oh man, this guy's just speaking nothing but nonsense right here. This guy belongs in a retirement home. Jesus criminy. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm so tempted to fast forward his little speech here, but then all the MAGA cult members will start crying.
To fill vacancies.
Bunch of little snowflakes.
Some others have tried, and I thank those who have engaged in good faith and urge them to continue their efforts, and particularly urge colleagues of their caucus to do the same thing. If I can be helpful and to resolve an impasse, I would be happy to work in that direction. Our Senate practices and norms will only survive if there's good faith on all sides. I'm urging all colleagues in the Senate to put.
Hey, what's up, Living Dead Girl? Living Dead Girl says Sheldon Whitehouse is keeping us aware the Florida judge is questioning fraud in Trump versus IRS case. He's looking out for us. Absolutely. Yup. Spot on. LDG.
An end to the obstruction. If the blue slip practice is going to continue, and it's going to continue as long as I'm chairman, and so many of my colleagues have also insisted that, Senate Democrats must stop bad faith obstructions, and I hope they can do it right now. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks very much, Chairman. I'm in this seat this morning because Illinois.
All right, Sheldon Whitehouse. Hey, all right, Brett. Hey, hope to hang out with you more in the future. Thanks for stopping by and saying what's up. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. But yeah, if Dan Fries and Aloha Kitty are out there too, say what up. Gotta get the crew back together starting in July.
Durbin was a close friend of Illinois Senator Obama and then U.S. President Obama. And today, in a star-studded celebration, the Obama Presidential Library is going to open. And Senator Durbin very, very much wanted to be there. I think he is exactly where he should be. And that leaves me to fill in for him today. I'd like to take my time this morning to suggest that combining our oversight hearing of the Department of Justice with the nominations hearing for Acting Attorney General Blanche would be a grave mistake for the committee. I don't believe we did that with Attorney General Garland. And I think the record of the Department of Justice under Todd Blanche lends itself to very vigorous oversight. Oversight which we have been denied.
Oh yeah, Todd Blanche, he belongs in prison just like his orange daddy.
Because when we ask questions, we get scripted litanies of insult and quarrel rather than actual answers to our questions. When we ask for documents and records in writing, we get nothing. We are reduced to filing FOIA requests that.
Hey, for sure, 1884. They have a good one out there. Catch you soon.
Are then not even complied with as FOIA requests. So the oversight function of this committee is really, I think, being systematically disabled. That's particularly significant when you have Attorney General Bondi saying that it was Todd Blanche who was.
And for sure, Amber. Yeah, we'll be getting the band back together, and we'll add some new people that never have and never will drink the Kool-Aid, such as Madame. Hey, what up, Madame? Madame's a solid person over there, you know, spreading the truth.
For the Epstein files disaster, the releases of private information and images of victims, the cover-up of documents that named Donald Trump, and just the general incompetence of the whole wretched mess. I don't think that it would be a good idea for this committee to be complicit in covering up the cover-up of the Epstein files. Move on to the slush fund, which a great number of my Republican colleagues have expressed real reservations about, with its attachment of a tax amnesty deal for Trump, the Trump family, and the Trump businesses. There are very legitimate questions to be asked about that.
Yes, Senator Whitehouse and Jamie Raskin. That should be that should be 2028 right there.
Including, has that cockamamie idea really been withdrawn, or is it just being hidden briefly so it can resurface in some other fashion? We should be looking into this as a committee. It's important stuff. And even if we shirk our duties at looking into all of this, it appears that a Florida court is going to be looking into all of this. And I think it's a bad look for the committee to be turning a blind eye to what went into the slush fund deal and the tax amnesty deal, and then discover through a court proceeding in Florida all the stuff that we failed to look at. It's hard to be taken seriously if we have failed to do our own duty, and then the court proceedings reveal the mischief. I will say that I've looked, I have never, ever heard of senior officials of the Department of Justice being called before a court with respect to a fraud upon the court. Look up fraud upon a court. It's a pretty serious charge. This one was raised, I guess I should say, by 3 dozen retired federal judges, some very, very respected ones, some very, very conservative ones. And the judge in the proceeding in Florida, out of which the slush fund settlement emerged, reopened the case to have a look. She asked for responses. She suggested that the DOJ might have violated its own policies in the settlement. She suggested that there was an IRS defense memo out there that would be relevant to the proceedings. The violation of DOJ policies would obviously be a matter for DOJ to answer. The IRS client memo would obviously be something for DOJ to answer. She also questioned whether there was collusion. It takes two to collude. It would be a collusion between the Department of Justice lawyers and Trump's private lawyers. So there's another reason for the Department of Justice to have responded. What happened last Friday? No response from the Department of Justice. First ever accusation of senior level Department of Justice people of fraud upon the court, with an invitation to rebut the allegations, an invitation specific to Department of Justice conduct, and they duck. So that is going to continue. The 3 dozen judges have their answer this Friday, and then the court will go forward. I will contend that we don't look like much if that information is being developed in a federal courtroom, and we haven't been allowed to ask questions. And indeed, our oversight has been collapsed into a confirmation hearing. I have never seen a Department of Justice as badly run as this one. I've never seen fraud upon the court allegations. I've never seen so many suggestions of contempt. I've never seen so many no true bills. I've never seen so many cases thrown out. I've never seen so many accusations that department arguments were false, were pretextual, were designed to fool rather than inform the court. And we see that over and over again from judges appointed by every president. It is now at the point where the Department of Justice and the US government have lost their presumption of regularity in federal court proceedings. All of this matters. All of this is something to which this committee should be paying attention. And with respect to what our chairman has said about the norms of the committee, well, one norm is that US attorneys come through this committee after a process of consultation before they get to run US Attorney's office. Over and over again, we see these slippery deals where acting US attorneys are appointed, and then the first assistant is fired, and when the time runs out on the acting US attorney, they slip back into the first attorney position and leave a vacancy. It's an obvious scam to get around this committee's norms. And we have put up with this. It didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice, it has happened over and over and over and over again. And on top of that, we've seen US attorneys called out for misconduct over and over and over again. None of this is normal. None of this is normal. And the fact that this committee won't look into it, I think, is a shame. And I think if we try to be complicit in failing in our duty to look into this by combining the Blanche nomination hearing with the Department of Justice oversight hearing, we will have made a very, very grave mistake. Thank you, Chairman.
I'm only going to respond to the process question you brought up, not the other issues you brought up. But I'd like to remind you that you mentioned Garland as Attorney General. There were 8 months between his nomination and the first hearing. You got to realize that there's only 4 weeks. We meet in July. There's 2 weeks we meet in September. That's 6 weeks between now and.
Well, did you ever think, Grassley, old man Grassley, that probably wouldn't be a problem if MAGA grinder Mike Johnson hasn't had the government shut down 80% of the time since Trump took office?
The election, you got to realize, and I'm not running the Senate, so I don't determine the calendar of the Senate, but we basically only have 3 days a week. So that's 18 days between now and the election. And that's why we have to combine the oversight with the others. And we're going to accommodate it by giving members on your side all the time you need to ask questions. We're negotiating that now, and we'll try to accommodate you as much as we can. But with only 18 days, you can see that we can't have 8 months between the nomination and the confirmation or the oversight hearing.
Hey, what's up, Sarah? Yeah, exactly. Like that show, The Simpsons? Like Smithers? Yeah, Smithers to Mr. Burns is pretty much like MAGA Grinder Johnson to Orange Clown. Yeah, MAGA Grinder Johnson is pretty much like the Smithers.
Well, I know that the chairman is sympathetic to the oversight problems that we face here and the degree to which this department's behavior is exceptional. And I look forward to having those hearings go forward in a way that reflects the chairman's consistent desires for real oversight. And I hope that the proceedings reflect that.
You know, when I came to the United States Senate, we started at 10 o'clock on Monday morning and we went till 4 on Friday. Now, it seems to me both Republicans and Democrats like a 3-day work week. There's plenty of problems there's plenty of work for an individual senator to do 7 days a week if they want to work 7 days a week. But you can't solve this country's problems if you don't get 100 of us together at one time. And that's whether you got a Democrat majority or a Republican majority. That's the way it's been. We got to put in more time here in Washington, D.C. meeting if you want to do what you want to do.
No objection to those thoughts.
Hey, Amber Leslie. All right, have a good rest of your weekend. Catch you later. If the air quality is good tomorrow, Carlo and I will go on live stream an adventure walk around the lake. So hope to see you around.
Think we better go to your bill while we're waiting for a majority. We're going to take up the stuff that I've got most pressure to work on, Coons, and so we're going to go ahead with her bill. Let me start out that before you do. The next bill is S40.
Hey, what's up, Yellow Summer? Yellow Summer's wondering who this guy is. This is the guy, Grassley, who should have retired like 50 years ago.
One, no fakes. This bill is led by Senator Coons and Senator Blackburn. I understand there's a manager's amendment. I'll now call up the manager's amendment number EHF 26528. Without objection, it will be adopted. I hear no objection. If there's any of the bill sponsors who would like to speak, do it quickly. Senator Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Senator Blackburn. I'm deeply grateful to Senators Blackburn and Tillis and Klobuchar, to Senator Blackburn and her staff for a strong partnership at every step. We have had so many negotiating sessions, stakeholder meetings, red line conversations, literally dozens of them. And I'm grateful for the support this bill has from many colleagues on this committee. Ranking Member Durbin, Senators Blumenthal, Britt, Hirono, Moody, Welch, and Schiff as co-sponsors. This bill is about protecting what's most personal to us, what makes us, our voice and our likeness. Every American should have the right to decide how their voice and likeness will be used, especially when generative AI can create highly realistic digital replicas that make it look like we said things we never said and did things we never did. No fakes gives every American a new intellectual property right to control their digital replica, to license it as they wish, to allow their families to protect it after they pass, and to stop unauthorized replicas from proliferating online. This bill creates a workable notice and takedown system so we can enforce this right. If online platforms take down unauthorized deepfakes, everyone wins. If they don't, the online platforms are exposed to financial penalties. The bill also reins in the use of AI models that exist largely to create unauthorized deepfakes. I want to be clear, no fakes includes features that protect free speech, parody, satire, documentaries, biopics, newscasts, they're all protected, and we built in appropriate counter notification.
It's a slippery slope right there. I mean, nobody wants deepfakes, but these guys are playing with fire over here. That's encroaching on the First Amendment. Like, they're just gonna say, their enemies or whatever, whoever they perceive their enemies are, whatever,
It's an exempted research lab.
Yeah, I can't trust this orange cabal at all.
And archives. This important bipartisan bill is the product of real compromise between stakeholders on all sides. It has enthusiastic support from across the movie, music, and television industries, from online platforms, from YouTube to TikTok, from AI companies like OpenAI and IBM, from organized.
I mean, if anyone's putting deep fakes out there, it's the Orange Man himself. He's portraying himself as like Jesus, healing people. He's portraying the Obamas as apes. They need to lock that fool up.
Child safety groups. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit for the record supportive quotes from 40 different organizations who often don't see eye to eye on much of anything, all supporting this bill.
Without objection, so ordered.
And if I could conclude, did everyone get what they wanted? No, but we did work to build support, and it would not have happened without my chief counsel, James Barton, who was tireless, engaged, and effective, and with the real partnership with my Republican colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am so pleased we are finally moving forward with the No Fakes Act. And as Senator Coons has said, this has been a bipartisan.
Yeah, the only one fake is the whole MAGA clan.
Effort, and a lot of work has gone into it. And it is imperative that we put this national standard in place for voice and visual likeness protection of creators. Every American needs this to protect from proliferation of harmful AI-generated deepfakes that are created without their consent. From artists and songwriters to students and everyday citizens, our nation deserves meaningful protections against deepfakes.
They're probably trying to go after the Lego videos. That's where you get the real news source from, is the Lego videos.
Our bill would establish clear guardrails that protect our creators in Tennessee and indeed nationwide, in addition to establishing a federal intellectual property right in every American's voice and visual likeness. We also provide a clear notice and take down framework as well as safe harbor provisions for companies that comply. These provisions ensure that when a platform receives a proper notice of a deepfake, that platform must promptly remove or disable access to that harmful content. If they promptly remove the content, they won't face liability under the bill. We've included explicit First Amendment protections in this bill. For example, we have excluded commentary, criticism, scholarship, satire, and parody content from being removed, as well as news and sports broadcast material. Additionally, Senator Coons and I and our teams have worked for months with some of our key stakeholders to come up with this compromise manager's amendment that we'll be advancing this morning.
Yeah. What's up, strongest woman? Are you talking to the MAGA cult members? Because if you are, which one is it? The Republican Jesus with the Trump Bible or classic Jesus?
Out of those negotiations was a counter notice framework that I believe has made the bill stronger under the new provision. Someone who believes a platform took down their content inappropriately, for example, if the content was not actually a deep fake or if it was First Amendment protected, can have their content placed back online. Both the creative community and the platforms had to make compromises. I believe it's a stronger bill in the end. I've always said that America needs one set of rules for AI, and No Fakes is a critical component of that rule book. Every American has an Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, constitutional right to benefit from their creative works. And the No Fakes Act allows for just that in the age of AI. I want to thank Senator Coons and his team for their partnership on the effort, as well as the bipartisan coalition of co-sponsors. We've assembled a robust group of outside supporters, and Mr. Chairman, I have letters to submit for the record from the Creative Artists Agency, the Broadcasters Association of all 50 states, the Human Artistry Campaign, the American Medical Association, and an open letter of support from SAG-AFTRA, signed by over 16,000 individuals. I look forward to a very strong bipartisan voice vote in advancing this legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before I call on Senator Lee, I would like to get this bill done, but just as soon as we get all the people here, we're going to stop for nominations. Senator Lee.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Senator Blackburn and Senator Coons for their leadership on this. And this is an important issue. A person's voice and likeness are both valuable assets. Artists, performers, content creators of every sort have legitimate interests, financial interests, reputational interests, in controlling how those assets, things that belong to them, are used. And they deserve protection against theft, against fraud, and unauthorized use, especially the type of commercial exploitation that can happen can be really problematic. Now, the legislation as drafted now raises some potentially significant concerns regarding free speech. We do need to ensure that in protecting content creators' rights, that we don't inadvertently chill free speech or undermine longstanding First Amendment principles. So my plan is to support the bill today and look forward to working with Senator Blackburn to address these concerns before they hit the floor. They do need to be addressed, but I'm happy to move it out of committee today and support it in that process with that understanding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Senator Blackburn.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And Senator Tillis and I worked together with the leaders of this bill, Senator Coons and Senator Blackburn, and I want to thank them from the very beginning. This builds on some of the work that Senator Cruz and I did on the Take It Down Act, which is now signed into law, and the provision requiring the platforms to take down non-consensual images in 48 hours is now actually in effect, as well as the increased penalties for the people that post the illegal images. And I think this is a huge step forward and a model that we should be using in many contexts. And while this law that we did
well, they better use the Take It Down Act on Trump's True Social account. Because everything he posts is bogus.
Focused on the non-consensual images and puts the rules of the road to give people control over digital replicas of their voice and likeness. This goes to something that we know has been a real problem. It's important we pass this bill because it is easier than ever to use AI tools to generate everything from images, videos, songs, recordings, and even Senate hearings. In fact, Senator Blackburn and I held a hearing on privacy that was actually a great subcommittee hearing. We walked out of there thinking this is so good, maybe we can find a compromise on this. And a day later, I saw an image of myself and I thought, oh wow, this thing is getting so much attention. It was me and she was sitting next to me and my staff was behind me, and it was actually an AI image. Now that might have been considered parody. I didn't think it was very funny with what they said. They somehow put me in the middle of the Sydney Sweeney Jeans campaign issue. But it was startling as I looked at my feed, and finally the platforms either took it down or put digitally altered on it. A number of people believed it. They believed I used language that I would never use in this hearing room. They believed I said things that I would never say. And to me, it was an example of how quickly these things can go viral. So what happened here, and by the way, if it is parody, I believe it should, I have another piece of legislation that says that it should say digitally altered. So technology led to incredible things. Last year, we did an event, the four of us, with Randy Travis, who lost his ability to sing after having a stroke. And using AI replicas of his own voice, he's been able to continue putting out music. But that's because it's his voice, it's his decision. Easy access to this technology has created real challenges that harm real people. Sony Music has identified more than 135,000 songs with unauthorized deepfakes on streaming services. So much of what our country is based on, and our innovation and our economy, is based on ideas, innovation, people's intellectual products, their own creations. And if we mess around with this with AI and don't reward them for that, we're going to mess around with our entire economy. It isn't just artists. Consumers lost more than $3.5 billion through imposter schemes. And so that's why this bill is so important. Everyone should have the right to privacy and the right to control their own voice and their own likeness. And I'll just end by thanking the consumer, artists, entertainment, labor, tech stakeholders that have come together to support this bill. You must know something's going right, Senator Blackburn, when you announce that you have the American Medical Association and SAG-AFTRA supporting the same bill. It's just usually these interests don't align on something. It's not like they're opposed, but it just shows the broad coalition that supports doing something about this challenging and growing problem. Thank you.
Before Senator Padilla and then Senator Cruz, if we get everybody here on our side, I'm going to stop you in the middle of your speeches. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, my name is Senator John Grassley, and I'm gonna smoke some grass right now.
And by thanking Senator Coons, Senator Blackburn, and the many stakeholders who've worked so collaboratively to bring the No Fakes Act to this point, receiving a markup. The problem of unauthorized deepfakes that mislead, defraud, or otherwise harm both the individuals depicted as well as the public is urgent and demands a swift congressional response. I'm grateful for the hard work that everyone involved has put into this effort. As the bill before us today has substantively and substantially improved, and I think reflects the care that the sponsors have taken to address a number of concerns regarding the implementation, innovation, and free expression online. There are still some issues that warrant additional attention to ensure that the obligations placed on the diverse stakeholders in our communications ecosystem, including music streaming services, video game developers, user-generated content platforms of all sizes, and others, ensuring that those are appropriately tailored and designed to achieve the bill's goals effectively. But because the process has been so collaborative, so constructive, and has been done in such good faith, I'm confident that we can continue working together to refine these provisions and ensure that the final legislation effectively combats harmful deepfakes while protecting innovation and free expression. I look forward to supporting this measure in committee here today.
We'll now turn to the nomination of Benjamin Flowers to serve as Circuit Judge for the U.S. Circuit Court 6th District. Speak.
Here, I got a deep fake right here for you, Grassley. Let's see you take this down. It might be a deep fake, but it's pretty real to me. All right, here we go. It's Trump and Epstein. Trump and Epstein Island boys, guys. Look at that. Having a good old time. Look at that. Looks like a real fake to me. It's the Island boys.
This is an extraordinarily ill-motivated candidate for the judiciary who has expressly said it's not his intention to follow the law, but rather to impose his view of what he calls traditional Western values. He has derided textualism and indeed said a court that correctly decides cases on narrow grounds without upsetting long set but badly flawed precedents will not be much use. That is unacceptable for the conservative movement of today. In his own words, he will use his seat on the bench to impose his view of traditional Western values, to press for the conservative movement of today, and will avoid, and indeed seems to mock, the notion of correctly deciding cases on narrow grounds. Textualism and minimalism used to be conservative values. This does not provide that.
The clerk will call the roll on Flowers.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Lee? Aye. Mr. Cruz? Aye. Mr. Hawley? Aye. Mr. Tillis? Aye. Mr. Kennedy? Mrs. Blackburn? Aye. Mr. Smith? Aye. Mrs. Britt? Aye. Mrs. Moody? Aye. Mr. Durbin?
Durbin, no by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse?
No.
Ms. Klobuchar? No. Mr. Cruz?
No.
Mr. Blumenthal?
No by proxy.
Ms. Moreno?
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker?
No by proxy.
Mr. Padilla?
No.
Mr. Wells? No. Mr. Schiff?
No by proxy.
Chairman Grassley?
Aye. The nomination will be favorably reported. Now Matthew Schwartz. Oh, hey, Senator Schiff,
Senator Schiff.
you want to be voted in person? Senator,
Please record Senator Schiff as a no vote in person, not by proxy.
Now we'll go to Matthew Schwartz, unfavorably reporting the nomination. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to flag for my colleagues that this individual represents President Trump personally in his appeal of the 34 felony convictions for falsifying business records related to his payments to Stormy Daniels, and also in the $464 million judgment against Trump and his family members and his business for inflated value of business assets. The president still owes the firm $400,000, evidently, and notwithstanding the chairman's comments earlier about following norms, no blue slip from either of the New York senators. I urge a no vote.
Clerk will call the roll on Schwartz.
Aye.
No by proxy. No.
No.
No. No by proxy. No by proxy. No by proxy.
Aye. Schwartz will be favorably reported to the floor. Now, Michael Hendershot, Northern District of Ohio. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant. Aye.
Mr. Gordon.
Aye.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Durbin.
No by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Coons.
No.
Mr. Flintoff.
No by proxy.
Mr. Rono.
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Padilla.
No.
Mr. Welch.
No.
Mr. Schmidt.
No.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
Ms. Bogie, either 12, either 10.
Nomination will be favorably reported. Now, Arthur Jones, Southern District, Texas. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant.
Man, I can't wait till we take back the House and the Senate this November. The maggots only have 4 months left because the blue wave tsunami is coming. And once we take back the House and the Senate, we won't have to hear these goofballs leading these Senate and House hearings anymore. We'll actually hear real politicians that just happen to be Democrats.
Mr. Gordon.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Hawley. Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Durbin.
No by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Coons.
No.
Mr. Flintoff.
No by proxy.
Ms. Rono.
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Padilla.
No.
Mr. Welch.
No.
Mr. Chin.
No.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
Ms. Bogie, either 12, either 10.
Arthur Jones will be favorably reported. Now we go to Jeffrey Kuntz, Southern District to Florida. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Gordon.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Hawley. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Durbin.
No by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Coons.
No.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No by proxy.
Ms. Rono.
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Padilla.
No.
Mr. Welch.
No.
Mr. Schmidt.
No.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
Ms. Bogie, either 12, either 10.
Jeffrey Kuntz will be favorably reported. Now John Mark, Southern District, Texas. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Gordon.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt.
No by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Coons.
No.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No by proxy.
Mr. Rono.
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Medina. Mr. Welch. Mr. Shin. Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
Ms. Mogi, item 12, the nays are 10.
John Mark will be favorably reported. Now, Don Berthume, to be Inspector General of the Justice Department, Senator Whitehouse.
I'm likely to be the only Democrat voting aye on this nominee, but he does have a record of integrity as an Inspector General. Integrity is a quality sorely lacking in this Department of Justice, and while I may find that I should be very disappointed in my vote here, I will be voting yes on this individual.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz. Mr. Holly. Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Smith. Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Durbin.
No by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
Aye.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Coons.
No.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No.
Mr. Rono.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Medina. Mr. Welch.
Yeah, this hearing came out June 18th. Just pretty much like the other day. It's titled Chuck Grassley leads Senate Judiciary Committee Business Meeting on Pending Nominees and Legislation.
Mr. Shin. Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 14, the nays are 9.
Don Berthume will be reported. Now, Sean Costello, a U.S. Attorney, Southern District, Alabama.
Mr. Chairman, may I say a few words?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say a few words in support of Sean Costello's nomination to be U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Alabama. Look, he has been serving this district for over 20 years. During that time, he's rose through the ranks as the chief of the criminal division in 2018, and he's been serving as the interim U.S. Attorney since 2021. Prior to his time in office, he served for several years here at Maine Justice in DC. He was also a legislative aide to both Senators Richard Shelby and Jeff Sessions. During his time as a federal prosecutor, he has tried 28 cases to final verdict and has pursued cases on a wide range of criminal conduct, including child exploitation, national security, terrorism, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and corporate fraud. Sean has devoted his entire career to public service and working on the behalf of the people of Alabama and the Southern District. Senator Tuberville and I were proud to recommend him to President Trump for this nomination, and I urge my colleagues for a yes vote. Thank you.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Holly.
Aye.
Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Smith. Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Moody. Aye. Mr. Durbin.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Whitehouse.
Aye.
Mrs. Klobuchar. Aye. Mr. Coons.
Aye.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No.
Ms. Rono.
No by proxy.
Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Medina.
No.
Mr. Welch.
Aye.
Mr. Shin.
No.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 17, the nays are 5.
Sean Costello will be reported. Now I call on Senator Cruz and then Senator Welch, and then we'll vote on the Blackburn bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to commit.
Oh, goodness sakes. Look who it is, guys. It's Ted Cancun Cruz.
Blackburn and Senator Coons for this hard work on this bill. The topic.
Look at this pathetic loser right here. This guy belongs in prison, along with his orange daddy.
Certainly an important topic. The Constitution itself establishes for the protection of intellectual property, and AI is ushering in new eras with the potential of theft and deception that we are going to need to be vigilant fighting against. That being said, I also want to associate myself with Senator Lee's comments. Legislating in this area is complicated and fraught with peril. I'm going to support this bill to move it out of committee, but I have concerns on the First Amendment side. And so I hope the authors of this bill are willing to work with Senator Lee and me to make sure that we are protecting legitimate First Amendment speech, that we are protecting satire, which is an important part of speech. I think of the ad Spencer Pratt ran.
Listen to this guy. Protecting satire as they're trying to like cancel Jimmy Kimmel. What a bunch of clowns.
Yep.
What a bunch of hypocrites.
Campaign, which I thought were hysterical and I think are a good example of what should be protected and not fall within a bill like this. And so with the hope and understanding that we can work together to make sure we are protecting legitimate free speech, I will go along with the committee moving this bill forward.
I apologize.
Hey, what's up, Bug 101? What's up, JFO? What's up, Kitty?
Coons, I forgot to mention you as the lead.
What's up, Regis? What's up? What's up, Sarah?
Senator Welch, and then Senator Schiff, and then we'll vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I thank my colleagues and the sponsors of this legislation. My colleague in our state representative, or our U.S. representative in Congress, Becca Balint, had a deepfake experience similar to what Senator Klobuchar described, and it was pretty appalling. It was her image. It was her voice. It was not her words. It was not satire. It was asserting through her mouth positions that she absolutely and completely is against. And there was no indication that this was AI enhanced. And the reality of the world we live in is that it is very difficult for people to see that this is a fake, that this was a fake, and it was totally and completely realistic. So the No Fakes Act, I believe, is necessary to protect truth, identity, and creativity. So I'm happy to be a co-sponsor, but I think that none of us can underestimate the perils of what happens when image and likeness is appropriated illegally now to create confusion and chaos. Thank you.
Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to offer my strong support for the No Fakes Act today. Throughout my time in Congress, I've proudly represented the creative capital of the world. And I've always believed that our creative economy and hundreds of thousands of hardworking people behind it deserve strong protections for their talents, voices, and likeness, which make up the foundation of their livelihoods. But in the advent of AI, those livelihoods, as well as the identities of everyday Americans, are under threat. The rapid advancement of generative AI has brought incredible innovation, but it's also unleashed a wave of unauthorized exploitation. We see this in the voices and visual likenesses of individuals, from celebrities to children, being replicated and weaponized without their permission and sometimes without their knowledge. That is why I've long supported the No Fakes Act. This legislation, backed by a wide coalition, establishes a clear federal right protecting all individuals from unauthorized digital replicas. The performers and voice actors who power a country's greatest cultural export deserve to know that their faces and voices won't be used to replace them. In order to protect human creativity and prevent against worse exploitation, I urge my colleagues to support this bill, and I yield back.
I'm going to assume that there's no amendments.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I just want to very briefly, it's similar to Senator Lee and Senator Cruz, some First Amendment concerns, but willing to vote it out of committee. Senator Blackburn and her team have assured that she'll work with us, and I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to assume no amendments.
How are they even going to enforce that? Like, I think they're trying to lead down the path of like just some crazy like you gotta like give your fingerprint to go online or something.
The sponsor said we could do it by voice vote.
Correct. We're satisfied with the voice vote.
Yeah. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it without a doubt, and the bill is reported. We now go to the cameras in the courtroom legislation. Sunshine in the Courtroom Act is the title of the bill. Reintroduced this year with Senator Klobuchar. Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Co-sponsored by Durbin, Blumenthal, and Cornyn. The bill grants the presiding judge in all federal courts with the discretion to allow cameras in their courtrooms. It contains provisions to protect the identity of witnesses and jurors, and it prohibits coverage of private conversations. This legislation addresses a long-standing need, and I want to give you an example of the Lockerbie bombing in 1988. The terrorists detonated a bomb on an international flight headed for Detroit. 259 people were killed. Years later, the district court in DC denied victims' requests to access court proceedings remotely, noting that it was prohibited from doing so under federal law. It took an act to Congress in 2024 to ensure that victims in that case could remotely access the trial proceedings. Denial of access shouldn't be the default. The public has a significant interest in many cases at the state level. Erica Kirk, as an example, has advocated for cameras in the courtroom at the trial of her husband's murder, and the public has a right to see justice prevail in this case, as well as the families involved. My bill would provide the same transparency that Erica Kirk seeks, but at the federal level, in this case, it's common sense. It's long overdue. I encourage my colleagues to support the bill. Senator Klobuchar, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. I want to thank you for your leadership, Chairman Grassley, and for listing this bill to expand public access to federal court proceedings. I'd also like to thank Senators Durbin, Blumenthal, and Cornyn for co-sponsoring, and I'm also a strong supporter of Senator Durbin's bill. Just this month, we celebrated 40 years.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell's like a walking corpse. It's like a zombie from the Living Dead, from the movie Night of the Living Dead or something.
C-SPAN, and when it started, everyone was scared. They thought they would look bad on TV. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But now for us, it is a fixture. People should have the right to see what's going on when senators are debating the important issues of our time. The same is true, particularly of the Supreme Court. That's why the two bills we are voting on is so important. I'm especially focused on the Supreme Court bill because I think just having a few, the audio available.
Hey, yo, what up? What up, Al? Hey, happy weekend, buddy.
Or some live streams here and there isn't the same. Many of us have attended these hearings. It's an extraordinary experience, and you shouldn't have to come to Washington to be able to do that. The bill, I will note, and I'll end with this, provides safeguards for jurors, witnesses, and the parties involved. The bill prohibits the broadcasting of any juror during a trial or during jury selection. It also provides judges discretion in the trial piece of this to obscure the identity of witnesses. And the bill prevents the presiding judge from allowing media coverage entirely if doing so would violate the due process of the rights of the parties involved. And I encourage my colleagues to support this bill. Thank you.
Senator White House.
I just wanted to note with Senator Durbin away today that he was a leader in the development of this bill and would like to put a statement into the record in support of it.
Thank you. Without objection, we'll report the bill by voice vote. Those in favor of reporting the bill say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. The ayes have it by a big shot, so the bill's reported.
See, this is the kind of thing you could capture on video in court cases.
Yeah.
These moments.
The next one's cameras in the courtroom, reintroduced with Senator Durbin, co-sponsored by Klobuchar and Blumenthal. Like the first bill, this is common sense legislation that promotes transparency in our judicial system. Specifically, it instructs the U.S. Supreme Court to permit television coverage of the proceedings that are already open to the public, but the bill restricts coverage for specific cases if a majority of the Supreme Court votes that it should violate due process. The public has a right to observe the cases before the highest court. Indeed, Supreme Court decisions have national importance and they affect the lives of every American. This legislation ensures access to all Americans, even those who may not have resources to travel to Washington, D.C. and observe the
Hey, I heard Mitch McConnell though, he voted against the Save the Maggot Act. So good for him.
Court in person. I encourage my colleagues to support this bill. Do you want to speak for Senator Durbin?
Yes, again, Senator Durbin was a leader in the development of this legislation as well, and I ask that his statement be put into the record.
Since I hear nobody wanting to speak, without objection, we'll report this bill by voice vote. Unfavorably reporting, all favors say aye. Opposed say no. It's overwhelmingly reported out.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of that hearing right there. So it looks like they passed it. Let's go check out before I go to sleep. Let's go check out this one. This looks pretty interesting. I have this in the queue. I've been wanting to watch it. All right, so this is
I think it's virtually.
This is Sheldon Whitehouse right here from Capitol Hill the other day making a statement. This came out 2 days ago. This is titled "The Simple Truth: Climate Change is Driving Up Homeowners Insurance Costs." So this is Sheldon Whitehouse right here.
Undisputed among people who are not on fossil fuels payroll that climate change is real. Earlier this year, I came to the floor and I asked my colleagues if they could all agree on that simple scientific fact. Well, unfortunately, they could not. So I came back, I returned to the floor in hopes that my Republican colleagues could at least agree to some of the simple truths that make up the bigger picture of climate change. I asked if we could agree, for instance, that sea levels are rising due to carbon emissions. Again, essentially zero dispute on that fact in the scientific community, but Republicans objected. I asked if we could agree that oceans are warming. Oceans are warming by multiple zettajoules. That's the number with 21 zeros behind it. It is a massive.
Yeah, over here in Los Angeles, we have this thing called king tides. And over in Long Beach, I saw footage of these waves, like pretty much like right on the doorstep of these like hotels. And then I saw some footage the other day of a wave. It was some footage shot from Hawaii. There was like a giant wave that went over this a condominium complex.
Measured scientific.
Well, there you have it. You know, Orange Man doesn't care about anyone else. He doesn't even care about Mother Nature. Donald Trump could give two craps about the environment. He's over there trying to promote his clean, beautiful coal. What else does he like to say? Drill, baby, drill.
And yet Republicans sent someone to the floor.
Oh, and then he starts to cry about windmills.
To object. Again, there is essentially no non-fossil fuel funded science disputing any of this. And I have to put the fossil fuel funded science in air quotes because it's not real science. It's just designed to look.
Oh, is that right, Al? All right. Thanks for that info. Appreciate it.
Science and tell a lot.
Yeah, so a family was out there swimming in the ocean and they got washed out, and one of their kids got washed out to sea.
In scientific vocabulary. So, if the environmental realities are too much for the Senate to acknowledge, perhaps my colleagues will at least recognize the economic threats that are emerging. So, here's today's simple truth. Climate change is driving up the cost of homeowners insurance. Can we agree on that? Well, let me break down why we should agree on that. Climate change drives extreme weather disasters, including hurricanes and floods and wildfires. Disasters like those destroy homes and destroy infrastructure, and all that destruction carries a heavy cost. Before the Trump administration stopped the practice in 2025, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, actually used to track the costs of this destruction every year. Thanks to NOAA, we have all this data going back that shows that climate disasters and climate costs have been increasing, quite dramatically, actually. This chart draws on NOAA data from before 2025 and other aggregated data since that, and it shows that the increase in climate change-driven weather has been very notable between 1980 and today. Here up to here. Costs of the disasters spike in particular years, depending on the type of disasters and where the impacts occurred. Hurricanes Harvey, Maria, and Irma made 2017 here the costliest year on record. But setting aside the spikes, average cost is steadily increasing along with the frequency of disasters. And these costs fall first where? On the insurance companies. In 2023, insurers lost money in 18 of 50 states. That's an increase from 12 states 5 years previously and 8 states in 2013. 8 to 12 to 18. The losses to insurers are also increasing. To offset these climate-driven losses, insurance companies raise their premiums. And sure enough, from 2013 to 2022, home insurance premiums more than doubled, rising to be over 20% of mortgage payments on average. When a family starts with a pretty big payment, like their home insurance payment, and it then doubles, that is a big hit to the family's finances. We know this increase isn't just inflation because insurance premiums are increasing 40% faster than inflation. We know that this cost increase is driven by climate change. We know it because the numbers don't lie. You can look at the areas with the highest climate risk, and you see that the cost increases.
Hey, what's up, Kitty? Yeah, for sure. This is actually Sheldon Whitehouse's channel right here. Yeah, I'm subscribed to him.
In those counties, the ones at most risk from climate change. The largest increases in insurance rates between 2014 and 2023 happened in the highest climate risk areas. Obvious and true. In high-risk states like Florida and Louisiana, premiums are estimated to average more than $14,000 and $11,000 respectively. That's not by accident, that's because those low-lying states are being hammered by increasingly violent and wet storms and hurricanes combined with rising sea levels. Both phenomena are driven by climate change. Higher home insurance means less money to spend on household essentials like groceries and gas, which are already more expensive than ever. But higher insurance rates are not actually a family's worst case scenario. The worst case home insurance scenario for a family is non-renewal. More and more in high climate risk counties across the country, insurance companies unwilling to take on this additional risk are refusing to insure homes at all. This is a nightmare for homeowners. First of all, you have the enormous hassle of having to go out and find new insurance, which probably costs more and is worse. But also, most lenders won't approve a mortgage unless the borrower also purchases insurance. And if the home is uninsurable, guess what? The home is unmortgageable. And an unmortgageable home is almost inevitably an unsellable home. When you lose your insurance, lenders may also force place a new home insurance policy on you to replace the policy that was canceled. Forced place insurance obviously protects first the lender's interest, not the homeowner's property, and it almost always costs much, much more, and it covers less, and it's added to the mortgage payment, and that can be a huge financial blow to a family. All of this added cost and risk means that climate change is dragging down home equity value, undermining the primary driver of wealth appreciation for America's middle class. And, by the way, reducing property tax revenue for things like schools and public safety and basic services provided by local government. The bottom line here is that climate risk has moved from the science department to the economics department, and it has landed hard in home insurance, and Americans are paying the price. So, as if in legislative session, and notwithstanding Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs be discharged and the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of Senate Resolution 554. Further, that the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Mr. President,
Senator from Wyoming is recognized.
All right, so that's the end, guys. I ran out of midnight oil over here. It's 3 a.m. over here in LA, California. I'm gonna hit the hay, wake up early, have a good Sunday fun day with my husky dog Carlo. What's up, Carlo? How you doing, pal? You doing all right? You ready to roll out? All right, yeah, I'm gonna hit the hay. I might walk him around the neighborhood. Actually, it's not that smoky anymore. But yeah, thanks for everyone that hung out, shared your opinions. Thanks for everyone that voted. Let's see here. So out of 1,000 votes, it was is Donald Trump the most corrupt president ever? And the answer is 63% of the people said yes. So the American people have spoken. And that's pretty much how the midterms are going to go, guys. Blue wave tsunami. But anyways, shout out to everyone out there that never has, never will drink the Kool-Aid. Pat yourselves on the back for having a heart, brain, and soul. And appreciate everyone that hung out, shared your opinions. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your weekend. And have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. I'm going to go on an adventure with my husky dog tomorrow if it's not so smoky from that structure fire. So if anyone wants to tune in for some just chill stream with non-political stuff, just enjoying a walk with my husky dog, feel free to tune in. But I'll catch you guys all later. All right, peace out.